Were you just putting the video up now?
Yeah, it should be up, but you know how this goes. Wait a minute, see if it actually loads.
Yeah, sure thing. I'm just reloading my subscriptions to see. Okay, here we go. Let's load up that. I'm gonna. Cool. Skip ads.
Hey, Vanessa.
Hey, there we go.
You can swing by.
Nice.
So as we're waiting for people to start, I am just going to do the one boring thing that's going to have to run in the background, and that's update MiSTer. So, Lewis, you said that update all, the latest version, can just get Mike scripts.
Okay, I think I forgot one small fact that you need to add one line to the downloaded.ini file.
Okay.
Check your unofficial check. No, yeah, there we go. Oh, it's there. Cool. So try yes.
Yes.
Beauty.
Okay. Save. Yep, and exit and run update all. Okay. So, here we go. Oh, I believe that's Ivory in the chat now.
Oh, dang.
Thank you for coming by. All right, so we have the MiSTer updating in the background. So then I think what we should probably start by doing is some very basic control tests. So I have my Nomad. We should probably get some captures of composite video through the RetroTink 5X just to kind of start us out. What do you think?
Okay, sure. All right, so in this stream, you're looking to actually do some video analysis of this, right? That's where I'm going?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Which I think we sort of did last time, but we'll do more this time.
Yeah, sure, you're really good at it. I'm not, that's kind of this is the area where I'm not really great at. Blowing Link up to 17 million times his actual size and analyzing each.
It's funny because you got to know what to look for, because so much of this stuff you zoom in and it's like, oh, oh wait, hold on, I'm echoing. It's like, oh, that's terrible, and then you realize it's not terrible. That's just how those things look when you zoom in. So, all right, let me switch over to the Tink.
So you're doing that one, and once you're all going as well. So I've got Ivory's board here. This is Ivory. This is designed specifically for MiSTer, but it should, in theory, be a generic RGBS converter. So it is going, it's going to take your RGBS out of the MiSTer and convert it to S-Video and Composite. And yes, this is sort of the opposite philosophy, no, a different philosophy to the way Mike Simone has designed his cores. So this device should work in theory on anything that comes, any signal that's 15 kilohertz signal that's coming out of the MiSTer. So I'm not going to do the in-depth test, but I haven't even fired this up yet. So when we get into it, I'll also hook this up and we'll have a small go on my little teeny tiny BVM here.
Okay. And yeah, I'm just pulling basic test patterns here. Nothing, nothing special or crazy.
Cool. Oh, the HD RetroVision ones. We can't use the Artemio. No. Oh, here we go.
Oh, we use both.
We use both.
Okay. And for anybody curious who's just joining, I'm using 1080p over 1080p 5X mode for all the reasons that I word vomited about in that entire video, but also because I like the zoom option a little bit more, and because I'm also going to be using generic mode, because once you start getting into optimal timings with composite, you could actually make it worse. Empty.
And this is composite. So this is composite out of a Nomad.
Yeah, which is not going to be good, but neither is composite. So
is this your triple bypass Nomad?
No, this is dead stock. I love carrying a dead stock Nomad for this exact reason.
You can out nerd other nerds. Oh, Nomad, that's cool. Triple bypass? No. You got a triple bypass. You're such a noob. Oh my god. I bet you got Voltar to put it in.
I mean, all kidding aside, right? For playing, yeah, you're going to want the best possible. Absolutely. But for testing, you're going to want a good control test, which is why I like some of these crappier options. Okay, so we have, and I guess we should get the Sonic title screen because that's what I always do. So.
Classic. So we're going to pull some of these captures, and then what do you do? Just pull them up on the stream and then enhance them, and we start looking at it and talking about the patterns?
Basically.
Cool.
Last time we did it, all the composites were fine. I think Ivory's was the winner. All the S videos were also just fine, but that was because the only thing I had to test was an unshielded cable, which, however long it's been since that, 2 weeks before that, I asked Retro Access if they could make me one, a custom. I just wanted S video. I didn't even want audio, and they said sure. And we delayed the live stream for that, and then they still haven't sent it. What, 6 months later or something? I know Rachel was having some health issues, so I'm not busting balls too much, but it is still kind of funny because we're just waiting and waiting and waiting. I'm also waiting on like 3 other stuff from them, development related. So we shall see. But okay, so I think we're good with the Nomad side of things.
Oh, so you've just captured that already. It's good to go.
Yeah, I just wanted to do that first, both because we're waiting for update all to run, which can sometimes take forever, but also because I wanted to see what other things that we had and what else we could test with. I think a good thing about doing the cores all on this one, whether it's Mike's or the original ones from Ivory, is that we're having a complete apples to apples scenario here. So.
Do you have one of Ivory's? What adapters from Ivory do you have with you right now?
I have, the power cable isn't quite long enough, but I have this one, which has been my favorite MiSTer case for a while now because it's just tiny and awesome. And this has got the variable capacitor in it to change how composite looks. I could probably zoom this in a little bit. I was trying to find a nice little combination of like.
So sorry, Steve. Sorry, Bob. That was the Sega Saturn version of Ivory's board.
Correct. Yes. And actually, now that I'm remembering it, I think I have Mike's stuff over here on the other side of the room. So let me grab that now.
Sure. So what I've got shown. Oh, I can do some zoom too. This is great. Oh, can I? Oh, my stupid remote doesn't work all the time. Here we go. Guitar. Yeah, I'm using the IO board that Ivory sent me as well, and I think it's such a small, neat little case. This is the one that has some USBs incorporated into the IO board, so it's not too thick. It's like a sandwich, basically. It's thick. It's just a thick 2 bits of white bread, bit of cheese sandwich with. And then I've got the standard VGA out version, which I'm running in this instance. I've got it hooked up and it's going to this BVM via RGBS. Very, very typical for a MiSTer setup.
So I have a question for you.
Uh-huh.
The last time that we did this, it was a jumper with no USB power connected, right?
Wait.
On Mike's board?
Right. I am
stand in front so it'll try to maybe hopefully focus. Come on, autofocus. What are we doing here? I know the GH5 isn't exactly known for its autofocus, but this shouldn't be that complicated.
How close are you?
Cameras have been getting it right for
you.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
I think this is the new board. My dumbass didn't label them, but I think the power connector and this I think this has to be the new board because we couldn't get this to work on other solutions that didn't have power. So that solves that. So all right, we have the new board.
That's interesting that
okay, refocus
power is now needed for this. I don't suppose Mike's
$2,000 goddamn camera can't even focus. How about this? Oh no. Try a different setting.
So actually, just before we go on, I saw a question from Tor from Sverige. From Sweden, Thor from Sweden. They say, will there be ever a Saturn controller on the Snack? I think there already is from MiSTer Add-ons. Hasn't he been flailing that thing around?
No, yeah. So I was asked that question in a Q&A last week, and I got it wrong. I said I didn't think there was any official ones out there because the core is still in beta, but apparently there are. So now, with zero disrespect at all to anybody here, if you buy something now that the core is in beta, it could change, and that's not the fault of anybody making the core, but it should be safe enough. Hey, what's up, Shane? Belmont?
I'm totally down with that take on the situation. It's everything is a work in progress. All bets are off. I was working on the MiSTer wheel video, and that's like halfway done right now. And really, my conclusions, I couldn't get anything to work. Any out of 7 different steering wheels, I couldn't get the pedals to work. Any of them to work on Outrun. There's always some mix-up or weird inversions or something like this. And my conclusion for that is just it's actively being worked on right now. I mean, it's literally these are the last updates from Hotego about this. So I wouldn't obsess about the Outrun results too much, and I instead focused on PS1 results because that core is pretty stable, and now we're just tweaking it.
Okay, so switching over from the HDMI out. Now, I also might have to change something in the MiSTer INI file, but let's start with this first just to double check. So input.
Wait, so input source.
So I'm not getting any video out of here. Ivory, if you wouldn't mind reminding us, what exactly do I need on the INI file for this output to work? Or is it the dip switches on the side? I could never remember what these are. You've told me so many times. I apologize, my friend.
I think that, aren't they only composite? They're only
I just flipped a bunch of dips and there it goes. So.
My ones are all
dip
down.
1, 2, 4 on. Okay.
Yeah, it's written on the side of my case at least. Why component is 1, 2, 3, 4 on. RGBS is 1, 2, 3, 4 off.
I don't think it's written on mine. That's a great idea, though. Writing it right on the case, that's a really good idea. I also get prototype cases all the time, so I'd rather have that.
Oh, okay. Dip 3 is for sync on green. Oh, okay, cool. Not all the information is on the case.
All right, so now, is this screwdriver going to work, or I need a smaller one? I might need a Voltar-sized one. All right.
Ooh. Okay, so wait. Because, hey, Ivory, on my case, it says for component, put 1, 2, 3, 4 on, and for RGBS, put 1, 2, 3, 4 off, and all mines are off and RGBS works. So anyway, we'll investigate that.
All right, I'm getting weirdness from Composite here, so let's just try it through the Tink and see what happens.
Oh, Sterling, I don't know what the hell we did to fix the echo. We didn't do anything. I was just asking what's up with the echo. And
there might have been an echo a few minutes ago when I was pressing buttons and switching between inputs and stuff.
Bob's pressing buttons, all right.
Wait. I think I know what that might be. No, it was turned down. Yeah, well, I got no clue then. Sorry. Keep us updated, Sterling.
Ivory's given us the info. Yeah, I don't know. The echo comes and goes, according to Sterling, yeah. Oh, okay. So Ivory's also saying that the VGA version and the Sega Saturn version are slightly different as well with their dip switches.
If you're talking about the echo of here, I could turn off one of these speakers, but you might just be hearing Lewis, come through my speakers back into my mic, but I can't walk around and do these streams tethered, so, or I could, but I'll fall over like I have in the past, which is fun, but, not always. So I am very slowly turning this variable capacitor. You can all see what's going on screen. Hopefully compression isn't killing it. And this is one of these things that it's like a clock. You can't screw it in too much or loosen it too much. Once you get back around, then you start back at 12. And all I'm doing is just turning it very slowly until the screen kind of calms down.
Okay, so this is a resistor that's on the actual I/O
variable
board.
capacitor that's on the back.
Capacitor, sorry, pardon me.
And I think I found a good spot here, but let's let me just keep spinning.
Right, and this is the idea that if we are converting from RGBS to S-video externally outside of the core, then some fine-tuning will have to most likely happen just to dial that in.
Yes. And it might have to be done per core depending, but we're going to find that out in a minute.
Sure. So I've got Ivory's external board here, and it has a big green variable capacitor, as you say, as well. So I imagine, and I've got the little...
I think it's variable capacitor. I say that because I kept getting it wrong. And I think it was Ivory who politely corrected me. And I was like, oh, well, I'm going to make sure to get it right. But then, you know, it's me. I forget.
Hey, what are you going to do? There we go, to the camera.
Okay. So we've still got your colored lines up on the screen.
Okay, let me get...
Ooh, that's a lot of rainbow.
Is it on the stream looking that way?
Okay, so I'm a bit behind. I'm seeing the Skype, and I see in the font of the menu quite a lot of rainbowing, but...
Oh, yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. Test suite.
The compression's got to be messing with a lot of this as well.
Yeah, because it's composite, so of course it looks bad, but like not at all what you would expect.
Hi, Stadium Arts. He's there in the chat. Just wanted to say hi. Yeah, I think the compression's going to be very difficult on composite, because if it's flickering a little bit, then frame by frame, the compression algorithm is going to go a little bananas.
I mean, I'm putting the shots up side by side, and it does not look that much worse than a stock Nomad, if at all. To be honest, there's differences, but it's not like I'm seeing this going, holy crap, this is terrible. Like not at all.
Okay. And so this is where you've done your best job that you can eyeball it to dial in that capacitor, and this is what you're using right now.
Yes.
Okay. Because when I see it through the Skype, I see like each color bar is really wavy, like the edges of it are very variable.
Yeah, it's wiggling.
Yeah. It's got a bit of wiggling action going on there. Okay.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, you got the solid colors up now.
Those aren't solid colors. Let me try tweaking. Oh, maybe this was the better pattern to tweak to. Maybe I was tweaking to the wrong pattern here. Let's.
Okay. You're using the horizontal. That's the one I'm seeing. The horizontal bars, right?
Nope. This is the color bleed.
Oh.
You're supposed to see a difference between. There's supposed to be like little vertical lines.
Are you, Bob? Are you sending the right thing down the Skype to me? Because I see. Okay, now I see
horizontal bars.
Now I see horizontal bars as well on the stream and on my Skype.
Yeah, that's not supposed to look like this. Let me switch it to S-video just to see if, just to give an idea of what this is supposed to look like. But I mean, this is what you're gonna get. Going. What? Did I press the wrong thing or something, or is it because I'm using an unshielded?
Whoa, well that's definitely improved.
Well, that's S-video, so
right.
Yeah.
So it's definitely. So what's going on? Have you got the like two outputs hooked up at once or something? How are you doing this?
Let me flip over and show you. Good question. So the good and the bad about this is I'm using a Sega Saturn cable that is S-video and composite all from the same cable. However, I'd be willing to bet that this cable is the same garbage that Bitfunks makes, that RetroBit rebrands, and it's completely unshielded and useless. So, I mean, if we wanted to, at the very end of this stream, we could pull this apart and cut the composite wire all the way back at the output to see if that'll help, because this composite video line running all the way alongside the S-video is basically like an antenna.
Oh, really? That can also make a difference? Two wires next to one another.
Massive difference, yes. So I'll put S-video back in, but we'll keep going with these tests just to see.
Cool.
But So we got to keep that in mind. Like an unshielded composite cable, like
Mm-hmm.
whatever. I mean, you're going to end up ruining the signal anyway, just because it's composite. And at worst, you might get some more audio buzz than you were used to. But an unshielded S-video cable, you're almost at complete and total composite at that point.
Ah, really? I've never what to say. When I look at your Saturn, that cable that you're using, I'm like, yeah, that's trash. Like, just you sort of take one look at it and you realize it's trash. However, what you like, I have almost never had a bad S video cable. I don't know if it's just is it some every time I go to the thrift store, there's some cable, it's a reasonable, you can just tell when you're looking at a cable. I mean, certainly not 100%, but I don't know, I've got my S video cable here. It's never had a problem with unshielded S video cables.
Not only have I had a problem with unshielded, I've seen shielded cables that it gets on the connector itself. It was disconnected from ground. So it's a heavy shielded cable that ends up acting like a completely unshielded cable because the connection wasn't quite there. Oh, that's actually pretty good.
Oh, dang. Thanks to Historic Nerd for the super chat. That's awesome.
Oh, thank you so much, Ian. I appreciate that. Let's check these out. And of course, because it's Ian. Yeah, baby. Like it wide. I just hit the wrong button, didn't I? I did.
Ooh.
Yep. All right, cool.
Okay.
Let's get to the Sonics.
And also,
yeah, man, are you back yet? How you doing?
Where was Ian?
Floyd, I think. Yeah.
All right.
Sonic. Let's set that back. Oop, nope, I don't want to do that. Come on, generic. All right, here we go.
Generic 4.3. Okay. And we're back to composite here.
Yeah. I mean,
it looks pretty reasonable, at least over Skype.
So it's actually sharper than the Nomad's composite output.
Okay.
And now that I have it dialed in, it seems fine. I can't imagine anybody complaining about this.
First of all, it sounds reasonable and logical that the MiSTer FPGA implementation is going to give a clearer output than the Nomad.
Like a stock Nomad.
Stock Nomad, sorry, of course. So fair enough.
Oh, Ian's not back yet. Still in the Middle East. 16 by 9, bro. Well, I hope you're having an all right time out there. I've been watching, trying to keep up with some of the World Cup, and I'm just watching that Netflix special on the corruption in FIFA, wondering what's true or not. So I am getting some shimmering in the trees and back.
Oh, yeah.
It's just out of curiosity.
What are you doing? You playing with that resistor? Because I'm just seeing Sonic right now. I'm not seeing anything of you.
Yes. Variable capacitor. Come on, if I can get it right, you can get it right. Let's just wait till the other track mode.
Variable capacitor. Variable capacitor.
Yeah, I just Yeah, I got to get you to try recording the weekly podcast one week. You see how many times you screw all this stuff up. You'll suddenly realize, like, I don't think he's as dumb as we all thought. It's really hard to get these acronyms right.
Absolutely. I've got it a lot with this. Like, I filmed, when I say I was halfway done with the MiSTer Wheel video, I filmed pretty much all of it, but then you film it all and you realize, oh, I forgot to talk about that. I forgot to talk about Dual Shock Rumble. I forgot to talk about this. And then you have to, how far, how deep are we ever going to go? And you're doing it really just because some nerd is going to sit in the comments and go like, oh, you forgot Rumble, didn't you? That makes a difference.
How come Sonic glitches over the logo on the title screen?
Does he? Let's see that.
Yeah, I could hit reset to try that again.
Watching Sega.
Are
No,
you
don't-
talking about the transparency effect? Oh, wait, you're right. You can't see it at all, huh?
Wait, what are we talking about? Oh, Sonic's over the top. Is that it?
Well, you know what? Let's just plug in HDMI and see. Let's switching MiSTer directly to HDMI.
Whoa, that's very interesting. So it looks like some sort of layer issue, something like that.
Well, don't worry. We also have SCART cables and everything else we could double check with. So here's just MiSTer plugged directly in. Let's take another look.
Same.
I mean, all right. So I don't know what's going on with MiSTer, but that's a very good thing that it has nothing to do with the composite out adapter.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Oh, it's the extra sprites enabled on the core. Thank you.
Okay.
You know, I do this to myself all the time. I'll go in and I'll make sure that I save everything as stock, and I manually go in and change stuff like this after. The only thing I do leave is the adaptive composite blend, just so I don't run into this issue. But now look at me running into this issue. So obviously I forgot.
But it's not
Miscellaneous sprite limit. Normal.
Okay, so you would imagine sprite limited is something that will reflect HDMI or analog output, obviously. So okay, there we go. Save settings. Sega. That doesn't flicker as much as it. Oh, this is HDMI. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey, look at that. Look at that. Sonic didn't drop his belly outside the logo again.
Dang, Fat Sonic. Fat Sonic's been watching too much Super Bowl. Drops his belly out.
If Ian's still here, I'll stretch him wide.
Okay, so we're back to composites here. Right, he pops up from behind. Beauty.
Yeah, all right. Well, that was worth redoing that screenshot just because that's pretty funny. Okay, well, still a little sharper than the stock Nomad, so
Sure.
I'm calling this this is a good one. This is a good thing here. So,
Okay.
all right, Mike's cores, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right, let me switch this around.
Okay, so I have unfortunately yet to get one of Mike's adapters. I think postage is hard to Europe.
So, now what we learned last time, which I can't remember if we didn't learn this until it was too late, but Mike suggests the Ranky brand direct video adapters. And by direct video, I literally just mean HDMI to VGA. And I think we were using a different brand last time. So we're going to use these, exactly what he suggests. And for anybody who didn't see the first stream that we did, this is not an apples to apples comparison. It is not fair, but because it's impossible for something like an RGB HDMI to composite converter to look the same as composite generated through the cores. So while this is not a fair test, it's still trying to figure out what's the difference and what's the best for everybody, because right now you could use Ivory's case with every core, and every core that supports RGB at least. And you could, as you saw, take one moment to dial in composite and go from there. Whereas Mike's, you have to only use the cores that he's updated and hope that maybe it's eventually integrated in the whole thing. So I meant all of those things as positive. It's just that's why we're testing too, and not just the solution that could potentially be better, because they both have their place here.
That's a great way to describe it. They're doing different things. They are possibly they're achieving roughly the same output, more or less. Obviously, that's what we're checking here, but they're going about it in very different ways. So options. A wise man once said, options are always good.
He sounds fat. Okay. Single ultra shielded RCA cable here. Beautiful. Can't get much better than that.
Oh, great. Oh yeah, I keep shielded RCA cables keep showing up at my thrift store for a euro, and I can't help but get one. They're thick, They feel good. You're like, oh yeah, I can't turn this down.
Okay, so also I don't know what the dip switches do on Mike's adapter. So, why don't I plug this into my Built Like a Tank PVM first before I start plugging it into my fancy retro tank, just in case I do something stupid, which is very likely. The only other thing is we have to enable direct video. So let me pop this out and just edit the INI real quick.
Now I was going to ask about that. Do you...
Ian, Wide Sonic is my thing. Don't kink shame me.
Now you have to use direct video because of that I/O board. You don't have the VGA style, the D sub output on that. Is that why you're using?
That is 100% correct. Yes.
Okay. So for people watching at home, if you've got the regular I/O board. With the VGA D sub, then you can plug Mike's adapter or his dongle, pardon me, straight into that. That's like an I/O board that we all know and love that I'm showing on my screen. I guess the only thing would be if you plugged it directly into the MiSTer, like I showed in one of my really old videos, that it produces a lot of downward force. You've got stuff hanging off. So maybe
if that was the case, if you wanted to do that, then I would highly recommend just having. Politely asking some of the awesome people in the scene to make a 3D printed bracket or case for it. Because I think that would kind of take care of it. You just have some feet that go down, and that's it. So
something like that. Or in this case, the one that Ivory's produced for me has VGA female at either end. So he's actually, like, it's meant to be used with a VGA cable in the middle of these two things. Because I guess Ivory's decided he doesn't like this, so it's easier to put it on a short cable.
Interesting. So that's neat. That's coming out black and white, but just on the menu. I forgot how that worked. I have not used Mike's adapter since that stream. Sorry, Mike, if you're watching this later on. But Lou's here.
Yeah,
thank you, Lou. Lou is so much more versed in this stuff than I am. So thank you. I appreciate it. Believe the adapters toggle the Luma trap. So I guess let's get into one of Mike's cores and kind of go from there. I will switch over to the Tink now.
Hey, Lou, do you have this adapter from Mike, this last version? I saw we got a USB-C power on it. Do you have that, Lou? Right, so for people watching, because Mike's adapters work by modifying the core, the menu is not modified for YC, so it's going to come out in black and white until such a time that if Mike's changes are integrated into MiSTer Main, we shall see. Cool.
Okay. So that's obviously not right. But let me flip the toggles here.
Just getting back to Thor in the chat. What do you mean by the official two-player NES snack? Does it work on the NES core or you need something else? Look, I don't know a lot about it, but could you give some more background and some more information on that? All right.
So here's the thing. When you're talking about official, there is no official. Those snack cores or the snack adapters are whoever makes them. So there's really only two kinds. And this is the only time I ever throw shade Pork's way. Pork has those adapters that require you to use those little pigtail adapters with an HDMI port on the end, which I have always and will always think is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I can't believe you have to buy two pieces of something to have one thing work. And I can't stand those adapters. You end up with a bag of shit, and by the time you find everything you need, you don't even want to play the game anymore. So, but it works perfectly. And if you already have a ton of those HDMI controller adapters, then it's the best choice. But I prefer the ones that are just console, controller in, and then USB style port out for snack. And even those, most people aren't making right. Most people are making them with the wired in USB port on it when it should absolutely have a USB pigtail cable for strain relief. So I don't get it, but whatever. But they're all well made, and anything that comes from Pork is well made. So no,
absolutely.
That's the shade that I throw is backed with love and facts. So there you go.
That's
but
all right. I mean, that's just, I mean, it's an opinion of yours. And also, like you say, because there's not really anything official. There's not one source of knowledge. So, okay, we've got different designs. And also, I guess another thing in fairness to Bork, he's had them out for quite a long time already.
Yeah.
So he's a fairly early adopter on that. And that stuff's going to happen. Sorry, Bob, go ahead with it.
No, that's it. I mean, you know what they say, opinions are like assholes. We all have one and they all stink.
Yeah, because Thor's talking about the official snack adapters on GitHub, but I don't know what's
Yeah,
the
if that's
official
what you mean,
ones.
there is an official design that people can pull from, but there
Like a
isn't
reference design, okay.
one official adapter.
Mm-hmm. Right, and that would be similar to the way Mike Simone has designed his S-Video dongle, that he's made his reference implementation, I guess, and then everyone else, if you want to implement, you can either directly send it to PCBWay or make your own.
Right. Or if you're a certain seller in Europe, you could just make 100 right away to try to get the jump on things and then have a bunch of unfinished adapters floating around in your store. And that is not a dig I ever send Pork's way. Pork releases stuff when it's done, so
right.
I want to follow up the dig with a pat in the back.
So when you were coming back to your thing about the snack adapters, okay, we're not real big on the HDMI pigtail one. I understand that. And you were saying mostly just use USB, but just use a small USB pigtail so it's not hanging off the side like we were talking about. Is that what you meant? Is your preferred option?
Yes. So let me switch over to camera mode real quick. What could I use? Is there something I could use here? So it was kind of like the theory that well, actually, this right here is the perfect example, right? If this was a snack adapter, and if this was not HDMI, if this was USB, so now you plug this into the snack port, you have the console controller side here, and you're good. There's enough strain relief. You could absolutely have USB to JST connectors made. That's already something that's very easy and cheap if you buy them in just quantities of 100. So that is my preferred method. If you get Pork's method, you have snack to like an HDMI receiver thingy, and then controller to an HDMI receiver thingy. So that means if you just want to buy one or two, you have to piss away a lot of money that's completely unnecessary, and you still have the clutter. Well, you got to piss away
the money on the dongle, right? Which is how much is the dongle? Isn't
right.
the dongle only like $10?
It's not expensive, but it's not as cheap and streamlined as it could be. Which is where the criticism comes through. But you know, like I said, if you have a bunch of those adapters, I am 100% wrong, and it is cheaper to do what Pork does. So that's why I'm strong about this only being an opinion, because there's absolutely a scenario where I am wrong, and that is the right way to do it. I think that the biggest problem that we have doing MiSTer related stuff is that a lot of these things are so much more complicated than they need to be, and it's basically my job to make this stuff easier for everybody. You know, let the developers do the really hard work that I'm not smart enough to do. Let me explain shit to people, because that's what I'm decent at.
Yeah, and that is this part of the downfall of this distributed development that happens with MiSTer. That there's sometimes there are some levels of review and standards, and that might be something like the core SORG leg on the main core stuff. But then we have other things like this that anyone can make their own. Actually, Bob, just to finish off that discussion, we're talking about different sorts of snack adapters, and I did also remember I've got Ivory's one here, and Ivory's has his own unique take on how to do snack adapters that I showed in that video. That
he's got. Are you talking about the PlayStation one? Yeah, but so you just completely proved my point in the opposite direction. That is strain relief already built in. So there's no need for a pigtail, because that's a very cool and creative way of having strain relief done. So.
So that is cool. The strain relief only works in Ivory's case, though. This technically does work. You can just use a little USB pigtail, and it's just a standard snack adapter. But this 2 USB thing with support only works with his thing. So there is a little bit in the MiSTer community of sometimes you need to do a little research and understand which vendor you're going to get from, just so you can understand. Not necessarily you need to get all stuff from them, but some forethought can help here.
Oh, what a dumbass. I couldn't figure out why I wasn't getting any signal on screen, and it's because I had Composite plugged into the wrong thing. All right, well, you know, lesson
nice,
learned. But why am I not getting it now? What are we doing here? Okay. So let me leave this plugged in the opposite one so I don't make that mistake again. No, all right. So I was just, I couldn't get any colors to come through at all. So I wanted to see what happened if I plugged in the power in that adapter. I wish I was smart enough to remember to tell Mike to come join us, but YC console, let's go.
Here, I'll hit Discord and just hit him up just in case he's hanging around. Yeah, I was just checking out Pork's website, and actually, the very first thing that hit me was, in fairness to him, he does sell a Saturn snack adapter that fits his style, but it says in big letters "Core" in beta, so you know what you're getting.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely how Pork rolls. It's he's not out to take anybody's money, because unlike companies like HyperKid and Pound, mostly Pound, Pork realizes that when you start screwing over your customers, not that he ever has, I'm just saying, they don't come back. So that's the thing that always cracked me up about the Pound cable. Once people realize how terrible those things are, it's like, well, I'm never buying anything from this company again. So you just killed your own repeat business. I'm not getting anything out of here. So that's supposed to be color bars. And I'm not getting shit. So let me just, I think Ivory's is still active, because as long as, because you can use direct video and the analog I/O at the same time. So let me just double check here.
Should you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So this is Ivory's. So we got to figure out why Mike's isn't working. Maybe it's, maybe I'm plugging the wrong voltage in. Hold on a second. That's, that could absolutely be.
Double check direct video works straight up?
It does. Otherwise, we would not be getting this at all. However, I've tried powering the Mike's adapter, but I did not try powering the VGA adapter. So let me try that next.
Everything.
I can't imagine this would make the difference, but yeah, every time we do one of these streams, something goes wrong. So
it's quite cumbersome. You got to power Mike's adapter and the direct video adapter.
I don't think you do. I don't think we would get any signal at all, but I wouldn't be doing my diligence if I didn't try it. Yeah, as expected, didn't do shit. So let us try a different HDMI to VGA adapter and see where that goes.
Is that supposed to be the color bars up on your PVM there, is it?
Yes.
Oh, but it's black and white, right? Okay.
Okay.
I misunderstood.
Yes, video cable. This thing. I do like how Mike has the separate composite and S-video outputs on it, though. That's pretty cool. On the original board, it was just one, and then you had to create your own adapter for it.
Oh, yeah, that's a very cool thing. I mean, I think after a while, sort of Mike had one design philosophy. At first, he wanted to keep it as small as possible and as simple. And then sort of as time went on, he realized he couldn't avoid, if he was going to do it properly, it had to be a whole dongle like this.
Okay, not getting anything out of this adapter. So, oh, well, that makes sense, because then we would have to, hold on, lots of cables, lots of combinations. Let's try. Okay.
Ooh, we're back, but still black and white.
So we're powered separately. All right, I guess the next thing to do is I'll try S-video, and then I'll just try a different core.
Yeah, okay, that's so odd.
I guess you could say I should have tried this before doing the live stream, but
this part
last time worked fine.
I wondered whether I set up too much stuff. I put everything in place and we were nice and ready to go. And I'm like, oh, am I missing the vibe and the feeling of these streams to just sort of do it all on the spot?
My opinion's way more selfish than that. I'd rather be here hanging out with all of you while I set up and tear down than doing it by myself. So I'm just a selfish fuck sometimes. All right, so if that's not even working there, what we're going to have to do is try a different core. Maybe it's the Genesis core. Maybe it's just a quick little bug.
Black and white. I was going to reply to Brad Fife in chat, who was asking about it. It's a pretty interesting one because I'd never kind of thought of it this way before. Has anyone tried a MiSTer remote control setup with Snack, aka a small remote control for menus? Oh, with Snack controllers. Oh, wait, I think I misunderstood. So it's wired Snack controllers, Brad. But you're saying, of course, the problem is with Snack, you can't control the menu, so we need something else to do such things. I think Bob has the answer right there in front of us. That thing that Bob is holding right now, his little keyboard. Brad, you need one of them.
Yeah. This is how you do it with Snack. You grab one of these to go through the
Yeah.
menus and everything, and then you use Snack for the controllers themselves. I just realized we didn't check any of the core menu options, which could be...
Oh, yes! Of course, you've got to turn it on the core as well.
Priority, RGBS, YPBPR.
Uh-huh.
If my fat fingers didn't move that, this would... Hold on.
Here we go. Here we go. Come on, come on, come on. Will there be color? Yes!
Okay.
We got some color.
All right. Well, you know, I don't pretend to be the smartest person in the room here, guys. So, you know, it happens. Let me move it over to the Ranky one, the one that Mike had suggested for us. And then I also wanted to check the chat, go through any unanswered questions. Yeah, okay. So, Draconis, has anyone made a bracket to allow mounting the Retro Castle snack adapter to the non-Retro Castle MiSTers? Nope, you only need one USB 3.0 pigtail adapter. So it's just one of those tiny little, you know, they're this big, and, you know, one's a receptacle, one's a plug, and that's it. However, if you just wanted to get a different one in a case, there's a few other people making them. And like, all kidding aside, Porks is great too, but I think I redesigned the Retro Castle snack adapter for this case, for that exact reason, just so everything snaps on really nice. It kind of integrates pretty cool, and might even be a 3D printed case or something to match at some point. So, you know, but I certainly didn't have any problems with mine. Except I think I might have had an issue with the prototype with getting sync out of that composite port. So, Ivory, if you're still watching, was the later version of that working?
Sorry, Bob, what was that again? Repeat that one more time.
So, when I tested Ivory's snack adapter, which is, I believe, with My Life in Gaming at the moment, the composite video port, which is not composite, that is only sync, only for light guns, wasn't working. Okay. But I did have an early pre-release prototype, so...
That's very interesting, because that's the one thing I don't think I have checked on this board so far, is exactly that. So, cool. Okay. I will have to go check that. Yeah, I think it feels like every week now I'm seeing some new PlayStation Core snack adapter coming out. I think there's a lot of good options out there.
Yeah, and to be honest, so far, my favorite, if you're not using Ivory's adapter, is the one that I don't think it's even available for sale, but the one RMC released, or at least showed, that's been my favorite looking, because it's all contained in one spot. It's got memory card slot readers. It's, you know, if you're using Ivory's case, I would stick with that, just because clicks right in the side and everything works well. But if you're using something else, that one seems to be the best. Once again, unless you've already invested in the HDMI adapters, and then Porks is absolutely the right one to buy. Okay, so the reason we're getting no signal is because I wanted, I think I was set to composite, which is what I want to definitely continue with. So let me switch over to composite on this. Am I going to get a signal?
Draconis, I made a little note, actually. I need to test this composite ports, and I seem to be the one who has this device. So I'm going to test that in the next few days and try light guns on the MiSTer Core. All right, where are we at, Bob? Come on.
Rebooting the retro tank. Let's see what we got.
Oh, it's bloody Mike Chi again with these
cool
fucking retro tank.
Video signal.
Got some YC going on. All right, I can see that here on the Skype. That's coming in. Nice, nice. Blue.
I don't know what I just did.
Blue.
Yeah, I got no idea what I just did here, but okay, let me plug in another cable. That is the only downside, is most of those wireless keyboards are kind of clunky to use. So let's
They're definitely just, yeah, if you're not typing your manifesto on it, Ted Bundy. Just for MiSTer options, you'll be all right.
all right, so we're back with Composite. I'm just gonna unplug S video altogether because I just don't want. What if this cable that I believe is shielded isn't, and now I'm just running stuff next to each other? So all right, we got Composite. Turn off the Tink menu.
2 video sources at once, Bob. You naughty boy.
Okay, so this is where we were at before and why we were only getting black and white. YC. Okay.
Yes.
So you could immediately see why this would, if this was integrated into the MiSTer, all of the code, which I don't think it will be, but you could immediately see why it does, because there's no configuration. This is gorgeous composite video. Like, holy crap, I can't believe this is composite video. So
that's very interesting, because I down the Skype through the compression, as we talked about before, I don't see any waving. I see a little bit of flicker in the solid color, but the bars, the definition between the colors is very, very good.
Oh, glad you're still here, Ivory. What do you think about the PlayStation adapter with the sync line for light guns? Is that updated? Okay, so if you look at between red and blue here, dip switch number 1 does that. I feel like this setting, well, let me keep looking.
I don't see much difference there. Oh, okay, it's something. One's a bit brighter.
Yeah.
That one's duller. This one we're on now. But there's 2 dip switches, right? Not just one.
Yeah, I don't know what the other one does. It doesn't seem to be doing anything. Lou, if you're here.
Lou, what do the 2 dip switches do, man?
I feel like that's the way to go, this one. But either way, I mean, this is pretty awesome. So I'm going to just start doing screenshots.
And sorry, this was the Super Nintendo core, is that right?
No, I went back to Genesis because I realized it wasn't a core issue. It was a Bob is dumb issue.
Okay, because actually that is interesting, because I remember when I was testing this stuff a while back, Genesis core definitely had more problems just in general with rainbowing and color bleed than the SNES core. So if you're using the SNES core, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's great, but go try a Genesis style core. So cool.
Okay. Also looks very good.
Yeah, it's looking very solid.
I mean, I'm talking a little shit here right now, but I actually think both of these look better than a stock Nomad, which is not the world's best composite video source. I know that, but still.
So logically, if I sit down and I think about it logically, Mike's dongle should be, in theory, better. In theory.
Yes.
So it's not super surprising. Oh yeah, I was going to talk to Arnold in the chat. Was asking, he's new to MiSTer. He's got an 8-bit do pad and wanted to know about arcade sticks. Did I understand, Arthur? You've come to Arnold. Sorry, you've come to the right place, my friend. I've got sticks coming out of my ass, my friend. So, Arnold, this is what I use. This is the 8-bit do arcade stick. I love it. The buttons can be replaced with stock Sanwa. The joystick can be replaced with stock Sanwa straight up. It's solid. And what I really like is it has 3 ways to connect. You can connect via wired USB-C. It's got its own dongle. You can connect via that. And it's got a Bluetooth connection. So 3 separate ways to connect with this. I found it works great on the MiSTer. Not too bad. It's about $100, maybe a bit more, something like that. And I think you could do a lot worse, especially if you're new to MiSTer. It's a great stick, and I've replaced it with Sanwa parts, and I love it.
What's the lag on it? Pork had the sheet for it, right?
Right. It's a good one. Not too bad. Let me open that up. because that was I tested that one as well because it was very interesting because one stick gave you 3 connection methods. So you could compare the 3 of them. And wired wasn't necessarily better. There was some weird stuff going on there.
All right, I'm going to switch it over to S-Video now. And then we'll go back to Ivory's for S-Video, and I'm going to cut this stupid cable at the end because it's just, that's useless. I mean, Pork was actually nice enough to send me that. And the first thing he said was, I think this is just as shitty as the cable that you have. So, yeah, I think he was working on getting really good quality ones. But I forgot to follow up with him on that.
I put the Pork Chop Express MiSTer FPGA latency latency database link into the chat, and from that we can see that stick that I just showed up, Bluetooth 7.3, wired USB 10.8, the dongle, built-in dongle 11 milliseconds. So interesting, Bluetooth is the fastest of those ones.
That's really bad. That means the USB chipset that they're using is not the best. Which, this stuff frustrates me because it does not cost any more money to use the better chipset. So,
but having said that, it's 10 milliseconds. Is this such of an issue?
So you have 10 milliseconds of lag on this, and then you're plugging it into a flat panel that has about a frame of lag. So this stuff really starts to add up. That's the thing.
So every millisecond counts. Okay, as you're saying there, that's fair enough. But when a Bluetooth result is 7.3, I think you also need to, and it's been very good. You have to remember the Bluetooth dongle that you plug into your MiSTer will also make a difference. And I think as well, you should order a decent quality dongle. And again, to push Pork, he's selling the one that he's tested.
I was just about to say that, yeah.
Yep. In the test here, he's listed the one that he's used, which is very, very good because the Bluetooth dongle makes a huge difference to Bluetooth over MiSTer as well. I got a message back from Mike Simone. He's busy at work. No worries, mate.
Yeah, I just pinged him again and said, hey, just tell us what the dip switches do.
Okay, so what are we looking at now, Bob? What's on the screen?
S-Video through Mike's adapter. We'll do Ivory's last because that's going to require me to cut a cable, and I just want to make sure we don't need to do any other tests before I do.
So how was Mike's composite versus Ivory's composite? Was Mike's still better?
It was, but that's I don't want to reword vomit and bore everybody that was already listening, but these are not apples to apples comparisons.
Okay.
For what Ivory's doing, it was freaking awesome. If potentially this was ever rolled into the main MiSTer core, this would be better, but I think that still remains to be seen. But I'm loving this. This is beautiful, S-Video.
Yeah, it's really nice. Whenever I tested Mike's stuff, when I was doing the first tests of Mike's adapter, I found even S-Video always worked and was always great. All of this effort that Mike has gone to, and it's taken him some time to find the time to create this dongle that you've got, Bob. It was basically kind of most of the effort went into Composite, not S-Video.
I thought it was the opposite. I could be wrong.
I thought it was tuning Composite. That tuning the Composite was the issue.
Oh wait, yeah, no, you're right. I think it started as an S-Video thing and then it dug into. It doesn't matter. I'm probably wrong.
Because I think originally his plan was, yes, we're going to just mix Composite outside of the core. I would be interested to go back and talk to Mike about his design philosophy because this has evolved along the way. And I think it might be an interesting use case for anyone who's developing open source, MiSTer, or this sort of stuff. Because Mike's originally, when I spoke to him, he said, I'm making these cores. They're going to produce S-Video natively. There's going to be Luma and there's going to be Chroma. And then I said, okay, what do we do for Composite? He said, we're going to mix it outside. We just mix those two together. You get Composite. It's going to be great. And then I said, Mike, okay, that's a very interesting way to do it, but why don't you mix Composite inside of the core? What's the technical issue for that? And Mike felt that it was going to be a really technically hard issue to do. That it sounds like if you can make S-Video, why can't you make Composite? Just mix them in the core. Turns out that was going to be a lot more work, but also now, 6 months later, the dongle was a lot more work too. So I'd be really interested to know from Mike, which direction would he have gone with hindsight? Probably still the dongle, but I'm sure he's learned a lot.
I'm so confused as to why the color bleed is just horizontal bars on all of these. I'm going to switch views for a moment here. Well, I guess let me finish this and then I'll...
So is it just that solid bars that you can't even see any pixels or anything like that? Is that what your concern is? Okay.
Shane, the latency variation is a big deal too. You could easily compensate for 3 frames of lag, but if it's 1 to 4, if it's variable, it's awful. Yeah, it's 100%, and if that's the case with the controller latency, then it's going to be a problem. And somebody made a crack, Arnold. I'm over 40. I don't think I'd notice 10 milliseconds difference in lag. You'd be surprised. You'd really be surprised, because that's something like you start running in the first level of Mario 1, and you're timing your jumps, and all of a sudden you're down a hole, and you're like, what the hell just happened? So you know, that's the biggest problem with arguing with people about lag, is that they have to actually get in front of something and try it to really understand what it is. I could explain it till I'm blue in the face, and they'll be like, you're just an elitist trying to sell your cables. Even though I don't sell cables. But, like, it's, you know, that's kind of the truth, unfortunately.
I want bob cables. Where can I get my bob cables from?
So this does look a little washed out, so I bet you I'm in the wrong setting here.
Because wasn't it first time that you looked at Mike's adapter, you used like the wrong settings or something, like the component settings or something like that?
There were a few things I did wrong the first time.
Not to have a go at you, sorry. Just I was remembering.
No. It's.
Weren't you shit before, Bob? You were shit once, weren't you? I think you were shit.
Different levels of shit.
What? Actually, I've got Mike's popping a little bit in on the chat, so I've also asked him as well. What are the 2 dip switches? Or did you ask him as well? Did you?
Yeah, but why don't? Because I'm gonna be messing around with this, so why don't you ask that? I'll switch over to plugging into the monitor now, but yeah, it's if you could figure out which dip does what and why, that would be
sure. Were you saying that last one looked a little washed out? Because it did, when you just went back to the Sonic main screen, it did look a little dull, almost like it needed some more color.
Yeah, I mean, we could do I could throw a scope on this real quick to see what the output is. You know, that's the right answer. Hold on a minute. Let's let me think about this for a moment real quick. So I mean, this does. Granted, I'm on a freaking PVM here, but this S video does look gorgeous.
Yeah, I feel that as well. I've got the same thing. I've got the BVM here, and when I look at this stuff, it melts. Going back to the chat, Draconis. Yeah, a regular CRT doesn't have 000 lag there. But once you started to get into digital CRTs, HD CRTs, then you started to get a frame buffer. We had to buffer a frame or buffer some, then we started to get it. And to J-Board, yes, I absolutely do have one of those things there. And I should probably give that a go. I think it's going to be pretty straightforward, but maybe I'll start to fire that up. Hey, Bob, I'm gonna do interesting things too.
Why not?
Well, I've got that. So I'm going to start with my reference test, which is just straight up RGBS into this thing. Let's make sure that works. So we've...
All right, I hope you all recognize what this is.
This looks like a weird vape box. What is it? A Behar? Oh, it's the Behar Brothers box? No, what is it?
Dude, you're going to get nerd bitch slapped if you don't know what that is.
Please do.
That was the video I just released on the $30 scope. You should own one of these.
I haven't watched that one yet.
Oh, Lewis, you should order this right up before everybody in the Eastern Bloc steals it away from you.
It was on my list. It was already on my list to buy one. I hadn't got it. Would you get it from Amazon or AliExpress?
You could probably find the same exact one on AliExpress, but as always, use at your own risk type of thing. But okay, let's just use it. And, you know, I got that fancy Rigel scope sitting right behind me, and I'm still using this thing because I genuinely think being able to just grab it, plug something in, and go like this is a huge advantage.
Oh my God. Clearly, it's been a long day. I'm sitting here wondering why. Why don't I get a picture on my screen? What's wrong with this? And there's no power to the MiSTer. Yeah, okay. Good. Things are going well today. Okay. Right. Uh,
0.32 volts. I'm wondering if that. I'm wondering if this is going to be affected by what I had it on in the menu. So let me just change that real quick. Actually, I think what's probably best is to do 2 quick readings here. So regular core.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay, Mike gave me some information about the jumpers. Okay, one changes the voltage levels to match the NTSC spec. So if you're using the analog I/O board, you leave it, right? Using direct video, you should switch it down. The other changes the Lumatrap values to filter 4.43 megahertz for PAL or 3.58 for NTSC. It's labeled on the PCB. And he apologizes if the switches are too small for your fat fingers.
Okay, so this handy dandy little scope is now reading, and you probably might not be able to see it, but 0.67 volts, which is 670 millivolts, which means the voltage coming off of this adapter is totally fine. I used the regular core, not Mike's, because I'm not sure how that would affect just standard RGB outputs. And I did properly add the load switches to this. So let me plug this back in, and let me verify with the other core. So what I'm doing here is basically just making sure that I'm saying things like it looks a little washed out, so let me check the voltage. What's the voltage like? Is it something that could be tuned? Is it my adapter? But my adapter looks like it's nailing it perfectly. And by my adapter, I mean the one Mike told me to buy. So.
Okay, so your direct video solution is good. This is what we know so far.
Yes. And I'm just going to here. Switch to RetroVision, and we're going to switch this over to the YC core.
I have a question for you, Bob. When you need to update something on the MiSTer SD card, maybe MiSTer I&I or maybe something else, what's your method to access the MiSTer to do that? How do you update it?
Totally depends what I'm doing. In this scenario right here, where I'm walking around and I am a foot away from my computer, the micro SD every time. Unless I actually have to work on something as it's running, I always grab the micro SD. But directly behind the camera, I have my 2 arcade machines that I never ever want to walk into unless I have to. So then I use remotely to do it.
Okay. Are you using FTP or Telnet, or serial Telnet, something like that?
SSH, and I have pre-written scripts to do updates, which means I could turn on my MiSTer and then just basically walk over to my computer, flick a button, and it'll start updating without ever turning on a screen.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice. The way I usually update my MiSTer is I use SSH as well, and then I just sit there and let the update all happen in the terminal. That's cool.
So what I'm actually seeing here, I wish either of these scopes had video outputs, but what I'm seeing here is when I had this set to the regular core through direct video, and I used the red line, I was getting 0.67 volts, 670 millivolts on this scope, which was perfect. And then when I switched over to Mike's, I was getting something lower, and that's when I realized I was seeing a visualization of YC. So I switched it to this cable, and it's the exact same 0.67. So that's just showing you that Mike's cores, even through an HDMI adapter, is switching the red and green output to Y and C, or C and Y, whatever. So that is cool as hell. But what we just proved with this handy little scope and the RG bench is that everything is working exactly as it should. which is great because that means now I don't have to chase ghosts about voltage levels and stuff like that. So yeah, not trying to be a douchey self-promoter, but get Quertimoto's RG bench and get one of these, and holy crap, you will never have to worry about any of this stuff. You really just need one of these, but the RG bench, you all just saw how quickly it took to hook that thing up. If I had to get my probes out, find my 75 ohm resistor, grab a punch down, like it's another 5 minutes. So, okay.
How much does an RG bench cost?
It's almost $100.
Okay, well, fair enough. Yeah. It's a quality bit of gear.
I mean, if you are going to do streams like this a couple times a year, it'll pay for itself just in sanity. But if you're just somebody that's like, hey, I'm going to get, a new arcade board once a year, let me test it to make sure it's nothing crazy, then just use your probes. Because if you only have to test something once, that's fine. But, okay, let me switch back over to this. Is my camera on a bad setting or something? I feel like I'm running at like 5 frames per second on this.
Yeah, you look fine. Seems good on the Skype.
Let me switch that over and see. Might have added on a different setting here. Oh, look, I look like a person. Oh, crap. All right, yeah. Well, let me...
Okay.
I'll set the white balance to auto just because I don't know what the hell I had it set to last. Okay. I feel like that's better. I feel like, yes, I'm not all choppy. I'm not running in, year 2000 webcam.
All right, I've got Ivory's external RGBS to S-video converter going here. Straight into the BVM. Looks good, and I can see some little shimmering in the blue in the 240p test suite, so I'm going to adjust the variable capacitor.
Somebody was asking for links. I'm sorry, I was talking about the scope and the RG bench, and I never even bothered to drop a link to it. So that post is everything you need. I will switch over. Oh, look, we got dueling mini BVMs. I like your cardboard box better than mine. Your top flips over, whereas mine I have to take it off. That's handy.
Oh, really? This is IKEA. $1 for whatever it is. $1.50 from IKEA. Perfect. I have that. Where's Thor? We got some Swedishness going here, mate. It's good.
Swedishness? That's a thing?
I think Swedish is certainly a thing. You can be Swedish.
Yes, that I agree. But can you be Swedishness?
Okay, let's do this variable resistor. Okay.
IKEA's going to sue you for that.
They sue you for everything, mate. So, oh, wow. So I used the variable capacitor, and I would say I did get the colors a lot more solid. So it's actually doing something. That's a good start. I like that bit. I know it's a bit hard. I know because I'm trying to see, because I don't have a capture. We're just looking at my camera on the screen. But I've managed to get rid of flicker in the solid blue. Let's load up some different desk patterns.
So can you not that one? Go to the color bleed and see if you. Well, no, because you're on the BVM, so or whatever PVM, so you would be able to see that.
Yeah, I haven't quite perfected this setup here.
No, that's fine. I'm seeing it. I just
I was trying to get the focus on it as well. I'm having Bob focus problems.
Since we're doing this too, let me double check. Let me double check a couple of things. Maybe it's the RetroTink settings. I know we're bouncing around, everybody, and I apologize, but this is what happens when you have ADHD. So I don't know how Lewis can keep up. Maybe you're as crazy as I am.
It's very likely.
All right. Thor said Swedishness personified right here. Love it, my friend.
Told ya.
Okay, so.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's a bit better. I think while I was streaming with my camera, I'd accidentally hit the record button, and I think that was recording at the same time, and that was screwing with it.
So I was just double checking to see, like, is there something in the tink that's smoothing these lines out? Let me
Yeah,
switch
it looks
over.
really solid. That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, whereas on the PVM, it wasn't doing that. I have other adapters I could use too. Let me just try this one more time to see, and then I'll kind of go from there. But what I'm asking, the question I'm answering now is, why did this happen on both? And it could just be that the tink is smoothing things out in a good way.
Mike Chi smooths me in a good way. Oh yeah. Okay. So S video out of Ivory's is looking good. Again, even for Ivory's external, I don't know if this is a bit of an oversimplification, but it seems like it's easier to do S video in general.
Yeah, because you're not blending in everything together. So.
I don't know if Ivory's still in the chat, but maybe Ivory, do you want to give us your opinion? Which signal is easier or harder to produce, S video or composite, or is it same?
Are you still here, Lewis?
Yep.
My monitor just went black. Well,
okay.
I don't know what the hell that's all about.
Good times. No, I can see everything. I see you there. I see you set up. I see. Huh. So when I'm testing this with I'm testing this with Composite, and it looks fabulous. I think a little bit of the issue that we have, Bob, is look, you've got the PVM, I've got the BVM. These things make Composite look amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely stunning. Okay, to give you an example of how good this Composite looks, for the last few minutes, when I was looking at this screen, I was convinced I was looking at pretty good S video. Like, oh yeah, it's all right, goes all right, this is pretty good. And then I realized, actually, no, I've got Composite plugged in. So far, this Composite from Ivory's external board looks real nice. I have noticed, when I switch from PAL, so when I switch from NTSC to PAL, I'm getting fuzziness in the screen again. And I imagine I've got to change this variable capacitor one more time when you switch to PAL, you've got to update the capacitor.
So, please, if you're here, Ivory, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would be willing to bet that without a doubt, yes, going from NTSC to PAL, you would have to tweak it because it's just different timings. But I'm not really sure how much it'll vary between cores. So we should definitely change that or check that out in a second.
Actually, I do need to look at that. Again, I saw a big difference between Genesis and Super Nintendo in my tests. Yeah, PAL is a little bit harder to dial in, I would say. It's a little bit. I'm going to stick with NTSC. Screw it.
All right. Well, my weird quest for figuring out why the heck the color bleed blends together, I don't really know how I'm going to go about figuring that out because it's even doing it on both tinks. It's maybe I could try going direct out from here into the capture card and see what happens. Actually, let me try that. Hopefully this won't crash the stream or something.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't like it. Which is fair. So we'll have to swing back to that, but so Mike's cores worked great and looked good. The only other thing that I would like to test, did you figure out what each dip does? So what does dip 1 and what is on and what is off do?
So Mike said that so he said there is some labeling on the PCB. Is there any labeling that you can see?
So it looks like switch 2 is NTSC and PAL.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And switch 1 is analog and digital. Does that make sense?
So I'll repeat what he wrote again, so we can go through it. One changes the voltage levels to match the NTSC spec. If you're using the analog I/O board, you leave it. Using direct video, you need to switch it down.
Not gonna work. Sorry, I was trying to get it to focus in, but there's no chance in hell. So yeah, switch number 2 appears to be NTSC and PAL.
Well, okay, the second one, the other changes the Lumatrap values to filter the 4.4 for PAL or 3.5 for NTSC. So
basically, we
Lumatrap.
should always just be leaving them on for analog or for NTSC output. Am I getting that right?
Geez. Okay.
Hey, what's up, Phil?
I am not sure.
Dang does not have an analog I/O board, but they do want to use these cores on a consumer CRT with Composite. For that, would they need Mike S's active adapter? Yes. Although, wait a minute. I think Ivory sent me some other stuff that I have completely forgotten about. So let me take a look now.
Or you could also use Ivory's board. Ivory's
Ivory's. They said they don't have an analog I/O board. However, I think Ivory sent me some of that to test. It's been so long since we've done this. I definitely didn't throw them out. I know that for sure.
So wouldn't Ivory's board also work through direct video?
No, because it's an I/O board.
No, sorry. I mean this adapter that he sent me, for example, this one that I'm showing up on the screen right now.
Oh, look what I found.
What did you find?
I can't believe I almost forgot all about this. This is one of the other things.
Yeah, that's almost the same to what I have, except you've got a SCART and I've got a VGA on the end. Oh, you got the VGA, so you can accept 2 inputs or outputs.
Okay, well, this stream just got even more fun than it already was.
Yeah, let's test that because it's very close to the one I've got.
So, I think just to kind of clean things up for a moment, I'm going to stop obsessing over why the color bleed wasn't working, because that doesn't seem to be related to either one of these adapters. So it's not their fault. Therefore, it's no point in talking about it during this stream. Mike's other adapter is now far out of date. So I'm going to throw that out. Mike, zero disrespect. I just don't want to screw up and use the wrong one. But yeah, that one, I'll put that aside unless he disagrees. The Ranky adapter here.
Okay. Yeah, I'm using this Ivory adapter on the Genesis core, and it looks really good. Huh. Yeah, it looks really nice. Like, I suspect the conclusion that we're going to come to, Bob, is that if you want to, you can, I mean, these solutions, Mike's solution, Ivory's solution, I suspect the conclusion is going to be they're all pretty reasonable and they're all pretty good. If we change some small things, if we put them on the scope, if we take the screen captures, then yes, we are going to find small differences here and there. But I feel like we're at the stage right now where Mike's solution and Ivory's solution, they're both giving you a really good experience.
Yeah, I think to take exactly what you're saying one step further, I think we concluded that last time, and everything about this is better than last time. So that's just compliments all around here. I'm just retaking these shots real quick, just because now we figured out I had the dips wrong.
Okay, yeah, so I think both dips downwards on Mike's adapter.
Down?
What did you...
Down towards the... Mine are closest to the USB-C port.
Oh, okay, so let me ask him again. Down, double check this because it's not clear.
Yeah, I'll answer the chat while we're confirming that with Mike.
Sure.
So, Dang, what your Ivory solution is, let me drop a link directly in the chat for you right now. But what What Ivory's done so far is integrate everything directly into this case. With this variable capacitor here is how you set, is how you dial in the composite. If you're just using S-video out, you don't really need to mess with it. It'll look great. Just get a shielded S-video cable. However, if that's going to require you to buy the I/O board and case, whereas this other design Ivory had is external, and we could mess with that in a few moments as well. But I will get the link to you at the moment. It might actually be in the description, I would hope. Yeah, Retro Castle case. It's right in the description. And I believe these are full kits too. So I'll drop it in the chat again just for people to have it referenced. Still waiting on Mike.
Yeah. What is he? This is from just Mike says just follow the PCB, so it's not clear when you're written on your.
Yeah, not clear, my friend, at all. But I have it set to analog NTSC. Whatever that might mean, I'm going to keep doing screenshots, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Mike's saying, just follow the default. Just follow how it's come. And I'm like, no, Bob's changed everything. We don't know what the default was anymore.
Yeah, I'm notorious for that. But like if we see here on this pattern, right, you see how C and E at the end and red are kind of blended together. So if we set this, I don't know what this means. I'm just reading the label. If we set this from analog to digital, it makes it too bright. So I'm going to go back. And then this next one, NTSC to PAL, doesn't do shit. So
so that might be where do I was going to say?
Let me try snapping a picture and sending it to him real quick.
Because one of them is the Luma trap, and one of them is some towards the USB for both.
That's what. All right, that was good guess. Good guess. Woohoo!
If using analog I/O board, come on. What about direct video? Oh god,
this is pretty funny.
Because and also it's important to point out with these two solutions between Mike's solution and Ivory's solution, another difference between the two of them is that in Mike's solution you set PAL or NTSC output in the core, like depending on which core and which version of the console is being used, where with an external solution like Ivory's, this board has an NTSC or PAL switch on it. Dip 1 is down, dip 2 is on towards the USB. But that's what you did, and it was too bright when you did that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna add this picture to the stream very quickly just to show everybody what we're freaking going on about here.
Now I'm going to try Ivory's adapter with S-video.
Yeah, so that's for anybody watching on stream, this is what we're talking about. And the dip switches are both pressed towards the USB port. And now you can see what I mean, how it says, oh, maybe my eyes are going. I'm 41 now, maybe my eyes are going, but that says analog I/O, digital I/O. Interesting, and NTSC or PAL. So when I flip it to digital, that's so sad. Dude, I hit 40 and everybody was like, wait, did I just lose Lewis? I did. Hold on.
Oh, did you? Oh.
I clicked the wrong thing.
Oh, okay. I can still hear you and all good.
Sorry, I deleted Lewis by accident. He's back.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, man, I hit 41 and like everything was fine, and then next thing you know, like my body just started to fall apart. But so I thought my ears are still good, which is really good because I still think I'm a musician. But all right, so switching this from analog I/O to digital I/O. Watch what happens. Is that supposed to be like that? Because it really just looked like it's getting washed out.
It's very interesting. I agree. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess we've got to talk to Mike more about that.
Yeah, dang. I don't know if it's in the story yet. I think one of the things that we were one of the things that we were supposed to do is test that today to see how it works. But you know what? Let's just pause for a moment and do. So color bleed. This is the color bars. Dip on. Let me take a screenshot of this.
So Mike's quick solution, and like he's at work, so I appreciate any time he's giving to us right now, is that means like the analog and the digital ones, that is for the spec. So apparently, even though it's a bit washed out, as he says, that is conforming to the NTSC spec.
Oh, no, he's totally right. Hold on a second. Let me get these in. This is an illusion of being on stream and seeing this smushed in the window. Let me get these up here for everybody to see. Yeah, he's totally right. I'm a moron. It's fine. But you all see what I mean when I put them up here, so...
I can... Wait,
okay, so... I'm kind of going to smush these together. What you image... Okay, so if you look at the outline of this, you know what? I'm gonna make it so I can just toggle between them. So if you look at the outline of this one, basically the black space around it, on my monitor right now, this actually looks like it's a little bit grayer on the outside, almost like you had the wrong black level set. But more importantly, look down at the white ramp, and now I'm gonna swap it out. And now you could actually see it ramp up properly. So what I was seeing was just an illusion of me standing here in a bright room. This is true. This is with the switch set to digital I/O. Now you see the white ramp from gray to all the way up properly. And let me swap them back and forth a couple of times just so you can see. So the same with the greens, the blues. So it's really the green and the white, I think, is where I see it the most.
Yeah, okay, we could see some there. I see artifacting in the green, but I think that's compression.
Okay, well, you know what that means, unfortunately, though, right? I gotta redo all these fucking things again. It's only gonna take a sec because we're already here, but
sure. Yeah, I'm loading up Ivory's adapter with S-Video, and yeah, it looks great. I gotta go through this, but I'm just eyeballing everything. But while we good. Okay, we can kind of see that on screen there.
So which ones did I do here? Color bars, color bleed, empty. Okay.
Huh. That's dope.
Okay, so just hold on one moment, and we will be. I will finish this, and then we'll switch over to the external adapter, and then we'll cut up that stupid cable that I have.
Sure. Yeah, I'm having great results with Ivory's external adapter so far. Really nice stuff. That's interesting. Oh, yeah, of course. So, So this time I was a fool. I am using S-Video, but I thought I'd give it a go and try to turn the variable capacitor, and it doesn't do anything because, of course, it doesn't affect S-Video. It only affects Composite.
Right. Now, that might have not have always been the same, but I rechanged the design on that with a new way to get S-Video that I think is going to prove to be really awesome. I'm just switching over the I/O board, or the INI file back to the way it was. Okay. Right. And the only other thing I want to do, because it's only going to take 1 second, is fire up the HDMI MiSTer in 1080p 5x mode and show exactly what that the color bar pattern would look like without anything available. So, console.
Okay.
I don't know why I said available. I meant anything in between like that. So, just fire this up. Tools. 40. Yeah, so in a perfect world, this is what that would look like.
Yeah, the Ivory's still working on this adapter, going back to the stream here. This is another, he's always got prototypes. That's what I like about his work. And I know also he was concerned, at least with this one that I got, he was concerned to point out that this has only been tested on MiSTer. But in theory, it should work for anything on RGBS. Although this particular model that I have does not have external power. So this sort of has to be used with MiSTer because it's taking the 5 volts from pin 9 on the VGA. You need that setting. But in theory, I was asking Ivory about it, and in theory, I can put my own micro USB header onto this. That's actually, there's a place on the PCB for it. I've just got to solder it in. And then in theory, I can then use this without external from the MiSTer, and that's something else I want to try too. I'm gonna write that one down.
Okay, so if I'm just trying to do regular RGB SCART out of this, I have to put the dips back down. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that's why I wanted to do this first. All I was doing right here was taking the RGB SCART output of Ivory's case, and you got to switch the dips to go back and forth between Composite and this. But now I verified that SCART is working fine, so I'm going to go into this. And you said I also am going to need a power cable, right? No, I mean, this looks like it's working, so let's see what happens.
You may not. If it's good question. Actually, that's a great question. I don't know what power is coming out of Ivory's Sega Saturn port there. Are you seeing anything?
No.
Huh. You may need well, it needs power somehow. It's either getting it from the
I'm getting a light here.
Oh, okay, that's good. Yes, this is good. But you're not getting any
Yeah, Ivory, do I need to use USB power if I'm getting a blue light here?
I thought not, but let's see.
Let me try Composite too, just maybe there's something weird. This. All right.
Hey, Ivory, with your Sega Saturn I/O board, which pin is delivering the power? Which Sega Saturn pin is outputting the 5 volts, like pin 9 of VGA? Which pin is that on your Sega Saturn output? I think it was really cool, actually, this comment from Ivory right now. Mike Simone gave me some advice, and I think it was really good. I'm going to redesign my board soon. So that's really nice that those guys are at least talking and helping one another. That's a cool part of the community.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm not getting a picture out of this. And I tried plugging it in. It didn't seem to make a difference. So as always, let me just back up and just see if I can get a signal with just composite. It's probably not going to look right because the dips are switched, but that's fine. I just want to make sure I get a signal at all. Yeah. Okay, so composite's working. So that should mean that what I'm getting out of this should just work. Unless the SCART isn't an input, but I can't imagine that.
You see, if you've got that blue power light, then that tells me there is power getting through. Mine has the same. I got a little green one, but I've got the same light in the same position. What else? RGBS out, same, right. Nothing else in the middle. Sega Saturn to SCART.
It's not VGA in isn't required, is it?
I don't think so.
I mean, one easy way to find that out. Switch this back to direct video mode and plug it in direct video.
Right, so it's definitely not in direct video mode. You've double checked this?
Ivory just said the SCART port needs pure sync, but this is coming out of your I/O board. So I'll try it with the I will try it right now with the direct video adapter.
Hey, is there some craziness going on? No, I'm thinking of Genesis, because wasn't there something where the Genesis cable, the spec is wrong coming out of the thing, so the components are supposed to be in the cable to attune that?
Yeah, but all the stuff I use for this testing is absolutely on the up and up. Ah, the real OC Gamer, just a reminder about the SCART cleaner project. Thank you. I gotta get up on that. In fact, you know what?
What's the SCART cleaner project?
It's this thing. I did a whole I talked about it in the last Q&A. I don't want to waste everybody's time again. Sorry, but I got to just make sure that I load this up on the website for people. I'll leave that there as a reminder for me because it's done. The reason I hadn't put it up was because the part shortage. You would think something like, oh well, we're out of VGA ports, so I'll just buy another one. Would you believe that many VGA ports that look exactly the same don't actually fit the same pinout on the PCBs that you design? So I didn't want to put that out there for people to make until the bill of materials was ready that showed that everything was working.
Oh, okay, Bob. So Ivory's here in the chat, and he's suggesting that maybe you want to use HDMI direct video and send that into Ivory's external converter, which I think you're doing right now.
What I've been doing.
Right. Draconis in the chat. I think the question is why, probably, but why do you want to remove that pass-through connector? Because it's what's providing the stability in the board. Oh, is it because you want to use it on a different board? And that's why. Okay. You want to use it on something that's not Ivory's I/O board. I'm looking at this right now, and I'm going to say, well, I guess you could remove that USB if you wanted to desolder it from that side. It looks like it might come out. I don't know. Again, like our previous advice was there's quite a few snack adapters out there right now. I might go for one that is already configured correctly, but then again, there's always parts shortage, difficult to get things, postage. So one good part about Ivory is at least AliExpress takes its sweet time, but it does arrive and the postage is cheap.
I'm getting VSync issues.
And
I'm just using direct video.
Direct video into that and then out again.
Let me, I gotta have some PNC cables here I can just plug into this. One of my many bins of crap.
That's a great point from Ivory here. He's saying, look, if you don't want that pass-through port on his snack adapter, just write a note when you're buying it, and he won't put it on because he's making all these himself mostly. So he just won't add that if you write that in your order. So that's another cool thing about Ivory's products. He is listening, and they are pretty custom. Wait, where you go, Bob? What are you doing?
Going through boxes.
Okay. Boxes and boxes. Oh, I need some fresh air. Fresh air in here.
Specifically looking for VGA to BNC cables to try this directly. I'm not just dicking around with boxes. Oh, of course, it's the very last one I checked. The very, very last one. Always is. All right, it's This is unfortunately why it's just a constant need to have a ton of crap laying around, because there's so many things that can go wrong in these setups. That's nobody's fault. It's just the way it is. So you want to make sure that you always have enough cables to verify and double check. So let's wire us up some.
Yeah, because that's where before we started the stream today, that's what I did. I just got basic RGB going on the monitor. I wanted to sanity check everything, the most basic setup. Then once we've got that, we're going to start adding all these weird adapters to test them out. Yeah, I'm liking mine so far. I'm really enjoying mine, and I'll be very keen to see how it works with something else, not the MiSTer, because I had before I was using the sync combiner and various stuff and hacking my own one using Antonio's design, but this looks a little bit easier to hack up.
So what I'm showing right now is direct RGB into this monitor. Just so that before we switch over, we could see right here, all of the colors are working. It's crystal clear. Everything works fine. And now I'm just simply going to unplug the RGB output and plug it into this one. And then switch. And as soon as I plugged it in, everything turned off.
Don't you've got to switch on this PVM? Don't you have to switch internal external sync?
No, my MiSTer turned off.
Oh.
That's fucking weird. Did something just short out?
Is the MiSTer actually got power right now?
Let me unplug everything and see. I don't understand how plugging this into would have hurt anything, but it's not hot. Maybe it's a amperage thing, because I was using my computer's USB ports. So
okay, that's a good point. You start hanging a bunch of stuff off. Maybe the MiSTer power supply has been not strong enough. Huh.
Let's see what we got.
Okay. Oh, dang. So the MiSTer's not powering on at all now, still.
Let me double check, but I don't think so.
Okay, this is a butt-clenching moment. That tension moment that we're all in. You did nothing wrong, Bob. You were just doing your thing, actually doing regular things.
Yeah, that was actually one of the few times I really didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. And now, who knows? This is part of the game. This is part of our hobby.
Wow. Okay.
Are there any lights on the MiSTer?
One sad little dim one.
Huh.
Let me double check that the I/O or the I/O. Why do I keep calling it I/O? The micro SD card's okay. Assuming we get this back up running, Ivory said that I should just check the MiSTer INI file and suggested that composite sync is 0. I had it as 1, so that would have solved the problem of it not syncing. Thank you for that,
Wait,
Ivory.
but why does that work then?
Well, I'm more concerned at the moment with, will this MiSTer work, or am I going to have to dig
Yeah,
out another one?
let's go with the most pressing problem.
Yeah, let's do this first and then go from there. All right, and let me do a quick sanity check because I'm notorious for shit like this. So, power is plugged in. However, well, no. So micro SD, then power, then HDMI, and we see what we got.
Come on, let's do it.
That's so funny.
Wow.
Killed my MiSTer live on stream. Let's just one more time unplugging everything. Gonna wait a few seconds, plug it all back in, and power it up. HDMI connected with nothing else. Powered by a 2.5 amp connector.
That should be loads.
The fuse on the I/O board might be burnt. Well, let me try that. Sorry, Ivory. I didn't mean to. I was getting really excited to test this, and then I just blew your shit out. My bad. Well, let's open it up and see. Maybe it's an easy thing.
Hey, you know what? This also raises another point that Ivory spoke to me about. Is that his design for his I/O board has USB-C power, which is kind of cool and an interesting thing. And I imagine there's some practicality and there's also a little bit of personal preference there. But he was explaining to me, well, that means when you power it off USB like you're doing there, you don't have to power the DE10 Nano. That the DE10 Nano is getting its power from the I/O board.
Yes.
And he was saying that one of the advantages to this system is he can actually do power filtering. He can do fuses on the I/O board, which in unfortunate circumstances can protect, make some problem on the I/O board, but it's protecting the DE10 Nano. So something like that may have happened here.
Let me snap a picture. I will put this on stream. And Ivory, if you could just point out where exactly it is you want me to mess with this. I'm going to grab a multimeter as well. Let me just put this up first. Well, if there's one thing you know for sure on these streams, you never know what the hell's going to happen next.
What's going to happen?
Lucky for me, I have a bunch of MiSTers, so...
So yeah, Velociraptor in the chat is saying, yeah, USB power is cool because you can't accidentally plug 12 volts into your DE10 Nano, which is one good one. I would say a downside is that many of us have already invested in good barrel jack, 4 amp, 5 amp power supplies. And now I don't use that anymore. I just use this 2.5 or whatever USB-C. I think that's a bit of a thing. So there's a little, but having said that, the proof is in the pudding, and Bob's using USB-C on stream. I'm using USB-C. I think it's a bit more convenient. But okay, we're getting a good look at Ivory's board there. Huh. I love how he does that silk screening. Not USB.
I'm assuming it's the slotted thing up top and right in front, right above the blue button. Would that make sense? Is that look like the fuse to you?
Sure does look like the fuse. Actually, maybe I'll open the... I'm going to pull the top on my one and see whether I've got something equivalent.
Grab my multimeter, which I also reviewed in that video, which was $11.
Dang, I got to get this. I got to go to
what's funny is that I bought that, and then Nick from HD Retrovision said a Klein Tools multimeter, a good one, was on sale for less than half price. So I got them both, and I kind of like that because now, like, live on these streams, I'll always use the cheap one, and if there's ever a question as to what's going on, we could verify with the good ones. Same with the scope. So if that is the fuse, then I am not getting tone on it at all. Assuming that's the fuse.
So check the fuse. It happened when a hot plug and unplug of the HDMI cable. Okay.
Let me snap another pic and just have Ivory. Let's see. Let me see if I have another one laying around too. So, hey, Monty.
Oh yeah, shout out Jonathan S. What did he say? My composite to work with HDMI as well. I had to make some pretty hefty tweaks to the INI file. Yeah, it's definitely. Oh yeah, I've got the fuse as well, and it's got 1.25 amps written on it. Your board has his extra fix kind of thin daughter board over the top, so you don't see the silk screening. But underneath it, it says 1.5 amps.
I have his JAMA board, which I also broke. So let me see if I could fix that.
But cool. Okay, so that's the.
Well, I will say that breaking the JAMA board was 100% my stupidity. It also was a very good learning experience for both of us, and I think that the design gets slightly tweaked as a result. So, you know, my dumbassiness comes in handy now and then.
Oh, you mean you spoke to Ivory about it and he's made some changes?
Yeah, to prevent other stupid people like me from making the same mistake.
The Bob changes.
Which is actually going to be, it's basically anybody who put the JAMA connector, like the JAMA harness on backwards, would have done the same thing. And while that's 100% my fault, I would never in a million years try to blame somebody else for that. It's something that could happen to anybody. And it could happen to experts who've plugged in a JAMA connector 1,000 times, and this might be the first time they ever do it upside down. So that was kind of an embarrassing but cool learning experience. Yep, that's what I pulled the fuse out of the other one. Now I'm going to put this back in. This is great. Okay.
So this is the fuse from the JAMA adapter.
Yes. So
Cool.
just drop this right back into place. We should be good to go to continue.
I love it. Look at that. We got the brain surgeon happening here.
I will have to figure out exactly what that part is so I could order a bunch more.
That's a good point.
So yeah, this was the JAMA board, which is great, but there was just a whole bunch of things that I beat the hell out of on it that ended up being the right move because we learned a whole bunch.
Nice.
That's why if you're gonna send me something, either send me the production version so it looks pretty in the pictures, or send me a pre-production version that I could beat the hell out of for these exact reasons. In fact, if you're going to send me the production version, you might want to just like ask somebody who bought one if they could send it to me first. I'll take some pictures and send it on. You don't want me holding on to it. I'll eventually break it doing exactly stuff like this.
Okay, so we replaced the fuse. And we're going to give it a go. I hope this works. This should work. I mean, it's to me, I think what we've done here, Bob, is as well as Bob. I mean, when Bob breaks stuff, we learn more things. And this has been a really good example of what Ivory was speaking about why his board has certain advantages, always a bit of a balance, but power, well, that is an advantage to USB-C. I
also would think it would be great if I could, actually I think I was talking with Greg about this, but if I could get an HDMI adapter, even just like a dongle coupler pass-through that disables power. So whatever plugged into the other end of it, you don't get the power pin from HDMI, which is not the right thing to do. It will not work in your home setup. It might screw some shit up. But in scenarios like this, you're isolating power and less chance of stuff like this happening. By the way, $11 multimeter for the win. All I need to do is continuity. No reason to spend a couple $100 on a fluke if you just need a beep. Right. Any difference between using a VGA to BNC cable versus VGA cable to HD15 to SCART, then SCART to BNC? Yes, HD15 to SCART has the resistance on it to prevent you from sending over voltage to something. So if you're going directly into a Sony PVM monitor, there's zero difference. There's no point in doing it. But if you're going into SCART equipment, anything with a SCART port, yes, that's a good thing. Yay! have MiSTer. Okay. So I need to put this back to direct video, and we will continue from there. Ivory, if you're still listening, is there an order in which I should be plugging any of this stuff in, even if it's just for prototypes? J-Board, those fuses are listed on the Retro Castle store. Really? That's awesome. If you could try to, shit. I was trying to figure out how to get him to drop the link in the chat without him getting blocked by YouTube.
I've got Retro Castle page open right now. I'm trying to find him. Oh yeah, he does. You're right. Bam.
All right, so composite sync equals 0. That's what I screwed up last time. Direct video equals 1. Not 10, 1. All right. And let me drop this back in. Yes. Sweet. Okay, I will be purchasing a bunch of those. At a whopping 35 cents each, I think I could compensate for all the times I might screw that up on stream and just buy a handful of them.
You're certainly compensating, Bob. There's no doubt about that.
Okay, so let's not do the hot plug like I did last time. Let's get everything prepared. Move all this stuff out the way. Don't worry, we're still cutting up this S-video cable later to do some final testing.
It's the grand finale.
It is. Okay.
So I was actually digging in while you were doing that. I was using Ivory's external adapter, and I was having problems with the 32X core. The Genesis core works just fine. Everything is good, but I'm having color problems on 32X. I don't know what's up yet. I'm digging into it.
Even on MiSTer, the mushroom turd gives us problems. Okay, so that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, got some color issues here.
All right, fingers crossed.
Let's go.
No, so something about this setup blew that out again.
Dang!
And the only thing I have power connected to at all is Ivory's MiSTer and the monitor. But this is a standard BVM or PVM monitor, so all right, well there was something up with that board.
Okay, so there's something up with that prototype board he sent across. That's interesting. That's why it's good to do this prototyping.
And that's also why I want to test into a PVM, because if I dropped the prototype while I was unpacking and bent 2 pins together, it's not going to blow this PVM out. Whereas, you know, any SCART device, it might, because they're not designed to do that, ever. Well, shit. Hey, Alex, the fuse is added voltage protection on Ivory's I/O board, but I think what's blowing it is this external adapter. Yeah, and that's not. I could try pulling it out one more time. Yeah, that one's blown. I don't think I have any others. And I don't have any other way to do that other than some very ghetto-ass things like, you know, jam a paperclip in there or something. Which I'd like to avoid.
Huh.
So, how are we going to do this?
Okay, maybe it's.
Is it possible the fuse is too low for what's being done? I don't think so, because all we're doing is adding an S-video out to it. So that's interesting. Well, you know, we can get kind of ballsy here, and let me test something. So I'll leave these fuse over here, but I do have. Where is it? All right, I do have a D10. Which we could do the same exact experiment on. We could just plug in the same SD card. Did I just knock off the 3 color buttons again? What a fucking moron. We could do the same exact experiment. Let me try it with Composite.
Okay.
And let's see what happens. A little nervous, not gonna lie. And let me double check visually. Like, nothing shorted on this thing. Like, nothing. Not even close. All right. Well, fingers crossed, everybody, right? And if we could think of a way to safely bypass the fuse, we can get back and test the last little bit of S-video testing.
Oh, because you've run out of fuses, of course.
I'm going to have to use an extension cable. I need another second here.
Okay, maybe the Ivory says maybe the HDMI port consumes too much current. Okay, something's going on there anyway. Have you got? Sorry,
that could be it, and I could try powering the Ranky adapter.
Yeah, exactly where my mind went as well. But otherwise, we're blowing fuses all day long unless you get it right.
I might be getting no signal because the AverMedia Live Gamer Bolt does not like direct video, and I need to upgrade my motherboard. I just don't want to drop the $300 that I got to drop to get the one I need. Anybody here work for any of the big motherboard companies? Would really love to talk to them about a sponsorship that would probably be a help to them.
Too big, a bigger fuse and 2 alligator clips. Dang, Arnold is a savage. I'm getting something's going up here. I'm not getting composite video anymore out of the ivory adapter out of my MiSTer. I don't know. So again, it's always that thing you wonder, like, have I missed something? Is something wrong here?
Okay, so it's working just connecting a basic DE10. So
Okay, that's a good start.
I'm going to set it back to direct video mode, power the Ranky adapter, and hope I don't blow out a spare DE10 that I definitely can't afford to replace. If I could afford to replace it, I bought a new motherboard. All right, so.
Oh. Okay. So I'm having problems right now. The Composite is working when I run it into something else, but Composite is no longer working when I run it into my BVM. And God knows, is it the BVM? Is there something? Is it my? It might be my my BNC to RCA plug. I'm swapping those out right now. They can always be a little tricky.
So connecting power to the Ranky. Connecting the Ranky to the DE10.
Ranky sounds like manky, which is like not good in Australian. It's manky. Crikey, it's manky.
Yeah, I'm not getting shit out of that. Power surge on the USB port. That's funny. Maybe that was it. Maybe that's because let's see what we could do here. I was wondering why my computer kept yelling at me. That's a very good answer. Let's move this over. See if I can get enough room. Let's see what I could do here. I'll try one more time, but I think this is a bust. I think that something may have happened to that adapter. All right, well. Oh, as soon as I unplugged the Ranky adapter from that that board, the lights went on my DE10. So something's up with the board and the VGA input.
Wait, the board? Do you mean the I/O board or the Ranky?
Yeah. Sorry, Ivory, but this right here, when I was connecting a SCART port, it was fine. But connecting the VGA port, there's got to be some kind of short somewhere because that's what killed everything. So I'm gonna have to put that aside. There was another one that he had sent that we could certainly try. Let me just do that real quick and see if that makes a difference.
Sure.
So everything seems to be booting. Everything's working. The only difference is now I'm going to plug in this secondary adapter.
Okay, here we go.
It all goes off again.
Do.
So is it the Ranky?
Have you started powering the Ranky?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that would be very surprising, but we'll see. One way or another, we got to finish the stream off and try that S-video cable, so I'm going to have to get crazy in a bit. But this is all very odd to me because now we're tracing a problem that other people might run into, so we're going to kind of have to keep going, even though it's not the point of the stream. Sorry, everybody, but this is... if you're using the recommended Ranky adapter and this turns out to be a thing, then this is going to be really worth our time.
Absolutely. This is very good because this is the one that Mike was recommending. He said he used and he thought it was okay, so we got to know.
Okay, connecting. Direct. Okay, so Same thing. Lights up on the DE10. DE10 appears to be booting. I'm now using a completely different VGA adapter. Plug that in. Not really getting an output, but
No?
Hey, Ron, what's up, man?
Oh, there's the man. There he is. What about RF? NES with RF would be amazing. We need that. There was that adapter that was out ages ago that went from Sega Genesis to RF, but it's a little bit of vaporware. A few people got them and it sort of disappeared off the face of the earth.
Went from Genesis to RF?
Wasn't there?
Are you
Yeah.
talking about retro gaming cables had extra stock of the Saturn RF cables?
No. Sorry. There was a device that would do RGB to fuck.
To RF?
Okay.
That's funny.
No, what was it? No,
Hey, Marcello.
wait.
Shit, Ron is now the 26th in the world up against Mike Tyson in Punch-Out. Congrats, my friend. That's freaking awesome.
26 of the world. Nice. Who, Ron, who verifies you? Where is this score? Can we see it somewhere?
Okay, not getting anything with this either. So, to the person before who was asking about external converters, the best bet is to get Ivory's case, just the I/O board. The link that is in this description right here, that is for the full kit, including the MiSTer. So keep that in mind. You're not gonna. It's not a $400 board. It's much cheaper than that. But yeah, that's definitely going to be the recommended way to go about doing it because neither of these were kind of working right. Not sure what the deal was with that, but you know, better safe than sorry. So let me take these out and then let me try to see what I could do about getting Ivory's other one working again, especially since we know we're not going to be plugging anything else weird into it after this. We're just going to be doing the basic S video. Poor Ivory. I'm going to have a box of stuff I sent him that's just all of the things I broke of his.
Yeah, we're going to need to take some time and look at these a little further.
All right. So, how ghetto are we getting? Paperclip?
Oh shit! Oh, on the I/O board.
Yeah, I'm thinking paperclip.
Go for it. Screw it.
Let me get a few things in order first here, just to make sure.
Huh.
Yeah, Draconis, good point. The only problem with that is a lot of the stuff that I do, a lot of the problems that I run into are a combination of experimenting and the fact that they're prototypes. So if this was a production run, maybe this thing was perfect, and it was just a combination of things that ended up like this. So you never know, but yep, you're right. So let's eject this.
This is why we do testing.
And power cable. I think yeah, I don't really know what the heck could have caused all that, but all right, let's see. I knew I'd have a use for this thing. Kept it in my drawer because I didn't want to throw it out. That's pretty funny. Velociraptor, I'm not plugging that adapter in anymore for this exact reason. So while you're right, I'm not worrying about that. I wish T was on this stream watching. He'd be laughing his ass off like, here we go again. T's been there with me for a couple of cut the red wire moments. Ron, this is a few things. So this was a follow-up to a stream Lewis and I did a couple months ago about how to get composite and S-video from a MiSTer. And the two best solutions that we found were Ivory, Retro Castle's case, this one that I destroyed today, and using that to dial in the different outputs. And it's not perfect, but it was very good. And then Mike Simone has those cores where the cores themselves generate S-video and composite. And those are definitely better, but then you would need a custom core for each one. So while they're both good solutions, these are the latest versions of each, and both are upgraded. So Ivory's, and by the way, the case that does this, that was not the problem. I was testing a prototype that blew this out. So if you wanted S-video or composite, and you got this case right here, you could just use a Sega Saturn composite and S-video cable, and they're going to look great. And it's going to look great with every core, period. Whereas on Mike's, Mike did most of the cores actually already, but you'd have to make sure to get the ones that were already worked on and compatible.
Yeah, actually, I haven't spoken to Mike about how seamless is the upgrade process. Has he got it into a set of scripts, like if there's a new version of some core out, or does it take manual work?
J-Board, can you use the barrel plug on the DE10? I probably could, but then if this fuse is up here, then the power wouldn't flow to the circuitry that gets us the composite and S-video out. So good thought.
It is possible to use the DE10 power and the analog I/O board power at the same time. I think Ivory suggested it a moment ago for testing, but I think in regular everyday use, he doesn't recommend it. I love it. Look, it's so dodgy.
Oh, yeah.
Some sort of bomb thing going off here. What? Hey, Bob, what's that thing you're playing with the clippers and the wire? Oh, yeah, some guy in China sent it to me. It kind of blew out, so I thought I'd just fix it with this, with this half a coat hanger. Don't worry about it. It's all legit.
I mean, what you're looking at is essentially my childhood year. Whenever I wanted to get something to work, this is, you get the tools that you have available to you, and you keep screwing around until something works or catches fire.
That's right.
So how's the comedy thing going? A couple other good gigs? I know you did Jimmy Carr for a while, and didn't you have another one?
I've had a few. Then it was Daniel Sloss, who's a Scottish comedian. I don't have any coming up for the next few weeks. I've only got Dylan Moran booked in March right now. He's a pretty big Irish comedian. So
That's
nothing.
cool.
Yeah, nothing too big coming along right now. Because I'm focused because in now 12 days is when I go to Japan. So I'm thinking about that nonstop. That's all I don't give a shit about comedy right now or my work or anything that I'm supposed to do in my life or anything like that. I am just in 2 weeks, I will be in Japan for 3 weeks. And I can't wait.
Beast just got back. Had a fucking wonderful time.
Oh yeah. I saw those videos of Beast there. Hell yeah. I'm trying to think about videos I want to make and like different sorts of videos, and I'm gonna hang out with Jim Kid Shoryuken.
Oh, I like Jim.
Guys, he's so tip top, man. That dude, he's so chill. Oh my god, the chill, nice guy. So yeah, it's nice to go somewhere and have at least some people you can hang out with. That is a good part of the retro games community. To have some sort of instant social circle, it helps. Yeah, man. So let's see. After we're done here, I might head down to an open mic in town tonight. I feel like having a beer, actually. So,
do you still perform at all when you do that?
No, I haven't performed for ages, actually. I did a couple of months ago when I was like 2 bongs and 4 beers in. But no, I need a break from it from a little while. Stand-up comedy has been not just my life, my world, my everything, my business, for like 10 years now. And running this company, and I'm having a little bit of a break after the Japan and then afterwards. So I need a little time to chill, I think. I love it too much, and I think I did a little time away from it, but I'm coming back.
I'm still...
Okay.
Every once in a while, I still think about that person who wants to be a professional comedian that I know, that is one of the least funny people I've ever met. And I saw them perform once. They were so bad. And I was just like, oh, man.
It's tough. There's the people, I don't know if there's hustling. So in our culture, we value the hustle. You got to get out there, make it happen. I don't know, organize your own gig or get some people to come or whatever that might be. But on the other hand, if you just don't have it, you don't have it. And I don't know. I
Yeah.
can meet.
It's sad. Like somebody, I'll never forget a couple of years ago, just a million years ago now. One of my friends was like, "Hey man, I finally found out I figured out what I want to do with my life." I was like, "Oh man, I'm so glad to hear that. You know, what is it? Man, you're a professional photographer. You're really good at what you do." And he's like, "I want to be a comedian." I was like, "That is a terrible idea. You are not funny at all, but you think you are, and it really pisses everybody off when we're at parties and you're trying to make a show of things." And he's like, he was devastated. And he went up to a couple open mics and he was fine, but he realized it on his own that like, hey, you know, maybe I actually aren't that great at this. So it was, but like, if I wasn't a douchebag and I was just like, oh man, that's great. You're wonderful. You're good. You should keep doing this. That poor bastard might still be freaking, you know, trying to do stand-up, embarrassing himself every night.
Maybe you showed him the true way. Because if when someone comes along and says, I know what I want to do with my life, it's comedy, like, that's, well, I feel like some sort of, that's too clingy. I'm going to need some personal space, right? Like, you should love to do it. You should want to get up there. You should have some desire to perform, and why. It's not easy. It's going to be a hard life. You are going to be a degenerate. You're saying, I'm going to be a professional retard. Like, that's what managing comedians is. Herding cats who are all insane, but you're asking them to be insane. That's part of the deal. Like, you go, oh, that comedian, he's crazy. And, you know, oh, it's if comedy managers might go complain about one comedian or another or whatever. But at the end of the day, we're asking them to be nuts. And so, of course, yeah, they're going to be pretty nuts. And I don't think it's something you can just choose to be, because even photography, maybe get a camera, really practice, read a guide, and then go out and get some, even a small job. Your friend pays you $20 to take some photos or something. That's a job. Like, you don't get, it doesn't work like that with,
yeah.
let's
And
say,
you know,
performance
I know I
art.
probably sound like a horrible piece of shit just saying that out of context on this live stream, but this was also somebody who was an amazing photographer that spent all their money to go to photography school and then like dropped out at the last minute and never really had a real reason why.
Sure.
So it's one of those like, okay, so you could put all of your effort into something that you're good at, that you've already invested everything you had into trying to become that person. Or you could try to work for years to do something that you're not a natural at, but you think you are. So now you're double fighting. You're learning how to do something, and you're also unlearning how to do it the way you've already done it. So yeah, I stick behind my my thoughts on that. You know, it was working, and then it just popped out. So Ivory said I could power it from the D10 and use a jumper, right? You know,
yeah, I was looking at the chat and some people talking about comedy. Velociraptor say that he had this friend, and maybe we've all had that. They're funny, they're charismatic, they're a really cool person, but then you get on stage and they're terrible. And that's because those attributes don't necessarily make you good on stage. It's performance. You've got to write an act. You've got to have an act. Maybe you don't have to write it word for word, but you've got to have it. Look, and it takes all types. I know guys who barely say 2 words and then get on stage and just rock it and are amazing. And then I know, of course, those crazy extroverts who jump around off stage and on stage and all that. I think extroversion isn't, oh, there we go. There's something there.
We're back. All right. I just used the double power method, but...
So...
let's just stick with the HD retro version. Okay, so funny enough, composite video, while it looked beautiful through the retro tank, out of this specific one, it's being kind of weird on my PVM.
Okay.
I'll twist the dial here.
So this is
back to Ivory's board that was
Uh-huh.
working great through the Tink 5X. That's worked great when I hooked it up to my JVC 36-inch. But this PVM doesn't really like it that much. Let me try toggling some. Well, no, that definitely wasn't it. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to switch to S-Video now, and then we're going to see what happens. And then I'm going to cut the cable so we can finally get some good S-Video testing out of this. Still have a weird wavy signal. So let's see. Let's see what happens now. And for anybody just joining, this is a ghetto-ass AliExpress 30 cents each cable. This is not a good cable at all, which is why we're probably seeing these results. If this were a well-shielded cable, I don't think we would have to be worrying about this. The other interesting thing I'd like to see is this actually S-Video, or is this just composite wired into S-Video, which I've seen that before. I've seen that in these junky cables.
Ugh.
So
Okay.
let's cut it twice. Let's first just, for science, everybody, for science. Anybody need an unshielded RCA cable? Actually, who am I kidding? I'm going to save that and put it in my cable junk bin.
What?
Okay, let's cut up for me later, and let's open this up and just double check
Okay.
how it's made, because that's going to be kind of neat.
Here we go.
What did I bridge the fuse with? A straight or a bent paperclip worked until I bumped it, and then I just powered it with two devices, just like Ivory suggested.
Okay, so you didn't have to bridge the fuse if you're providing power by the barrel jack and the USB-C.
Okay, so as I completely suspected, this is an unshielded cable. There are two unshielded cores inside of it, one signal, one ground, but the ground does not run around the signal. This is just an unshielded turd, which means that S-Video probably will not be improved at all because the S-Video line isn't even going to be shielded. So this probably isn't going to do a damn thing. And I might even cut open the S-Video port just to show everybody, because this cable is basically useless. The only thing this cable would be good for is, do we have signal? Yes, no, that's it. Because an unshielded S-Video cable is the same. You're going to get the color bleed from the chroma onto the luma. So
where are you going to get good? Yeah, where are you going to get good Sega Saturn cables from then? Retro Access?
I've been waiting over 6 months for Retro Access.
For those ones,
so
yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm not getting shit from them. Pork was working on it. I keep forgetting to follow up. I would like to.
Insurrection? I'll check them.
On a Saturn? That's a good question.
Insurrection Industries. I'm checking his website right now.
Velociraptor, why do I have crap cables? Find me a shielded S-Video SCART cable. Find me one and I'll buy it right now.
Sega Saturn RGB SCART C-Sync from Insurrection Industries, $24.99. Or you can get a Sync on Luma version instead.
Talking RGB SCART. I need S-Video.
Oh, S-Video. Yeah, right. Okay.
Got you there.
Oh, God, I was so close to being right. Yeah, who's got that? The other one, Sega Saturn to... What about the Foo? I just ordered a cable from the Foo the other day. I ordered a Dreamcast cable from the Foo. Now, why would I be doing that? Because I can't.
I have one of those. It's good.
Yeah, just the straight one. No box, no conversion. Just the straight up 480i one. I needed the simple one, and it should be here any day. Because the Foo also does some custom orders as well. Like I engage him directly because he's in Poland. So he just, we have our own special methods for European money transfers. Yeah,
it doesn't sound shady at all.
By that I mean the bank, but
do you work for FIFA? Come on.
What do we got? Save sellers. Let's check out how the Foo's going.
Yeah, so I guess I should probably write a post on this just so people don't have to rewatch this whole stream. But to be perfectly honest, I mean, this this proves everything that Lewis and I had a gut feeling about before we going into this at all, that both of these solutions are awesome. That Mike's is always going to be easier and clearer because it's generated in the core, not externally. But you then have to make sure that you get the correct cores to use, which at some point becomes unfair for Mike. He shouldn't have to update every single core every time there's an update to them. But on the flip side, it's not fair at all to tell Sorg to put the code in the main thing, because you might lose something else that other people want. So it's just one of those wait and see moments. So getting the Retro Castle case and getting this now is if you have an S-Video or Composite TV, especially S-Video, that you want to use, then this is really the answer today. But also, I believe Mike and Ivory had spoken as well. So I think there's potential for, if it gets rolled into the main thing, for it to be for Ivory to roll all of that into this design. So rather than have a conversion, you just have everything toggled. And also, if I know I have it right here. Hold on. It's here somewhere. It's got to be here somewhere.
What?
And Pork is doing the same thing. This is the one that we tested last time from Pork. And his came out great. The only problem was the same problem we're having today, in that we don't have a fully shielded S-Video cable. So that's not on Pork. That's just kind of the way it is.
That's kind of thing. You're going for Saturn, you've got to invest a little bit now in Saturn cable infrastructure.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see if maybe I could follow up with Retro Access and kind of see what they have to say. Maybe they could still make me something, but
yeah. My only other suggestion would be, maybe it's harder for you, but the Foo does do this sort of stuff. He does do customs. I have got SCART cables for him before. I don't see one up on his eBay page right now, but I know that, I talk to him sometimes. And,
well, if you talk to him regularly, maybe you could just ask him for me, because I can't remember the last time I talked to him. It's got to be years now. So
yeah, let me hear. I'll ask him. So Saturn S-Video.
Fully shielded. I don't even need audio. I mean, audio would be nice, but if I had a choice, I would take literally just S-Video.
Sure. Yeah, that's true. You don't. Actually, that's a good question. Does Ivory's S-Video output audio? It does, through the extra pins. Yeah, okay.
So a couple of things in the chat. It's going through. Insurrection just came out with S-Video cables for Saturn? Really? I'm texting Matt right now. I'm not even going to... I'm just going to text his phone. It's probably a douchebag thing, but...
It's Bob. Bob wants direct access to the stars, the big players in the industry. I didn't see it on his website, but maybe it's not up there. Maybe it's super fresh. I didn't see any S-Video up there.
All right, I just texted him. You know, he's actually a doctor, so there's a good chance that he's like saving somebody's life. Like, oh no, my phone's going off. What's going on? Is that fat fuck wants an S-Video cable? God damn it! Couldn't you have emailed me? So we'll see. Matt's a nice guy. He wouldn't think that. Am I going to test the MiSTer Multi-System S-Video Composite when it comes out? Yeah, of course. Big fan of Richard and, of course, Neil's work and all that stuff. That's been solid.
Okay. Does anyone know if Mike is going to be selling the board? I am not sure about that. I haven't got a straight answer out of him about that one yet. And that's fair enough, because, you know, to ramp up to produce something, it's a fair bit of extra work there. And I guess Mike has to decide whether he wants to do that or just put the specifications and schematics out there and let the other builders make it. I'm not sure what he's doing with that yet.
Matt's going to send me one. Pick up the bat phone, and it's happening. All right. So anything else that we want to test today? Mike's adapter is awesome. Works great as long as you use his cores. Totally just zero complaints on it. Works with direct video. Works with standard I/O board output. And this is a solution. Dang, if you're still here, I think I saw you post a second ago. This exact solution would get you everything you need without an I/O board, as long as you're willing to manually update to Mike's cores, which you could do right by using the update all script. You could just enable the other cores and get those. So you might just want to check out, and in fact, I could, you know what, let me scroll through those right now. Let me make myself useful for once and not blow something up while I'm trying to demo it. But I'll show you exactly which of Mike's cores are available.
Mm-hmm.
And that way you could kind of decide for yourself if this is the easier solution. Hold on, let me get back to Matt.
Oh, so actually now I look, thank you for pointing that out to me in the chat. Now I look closer, I do actually see Matt has a Sega Saturn S-Video cable for $24.99 on his website. It's not under the, it's not under the Saturn category. He's too busy saving lives. He should be updating the website category, bro. Yeah.
Can you post that link, please?
Yes, let's do that. Because I'm pretty sure I got my one from Foo back in the day, but hey, it's easier to get that. Yep. There we go. It's not in the S-Video. It's in the cables category, not the Saturn category. Oh, I like how he's got Insurrection Industries printed on the plug too. That's pretty cool. Okay. Nice.
All right, let me I know it's so rude to do this on stream. I'm sorry, people, but I got to just buy this thing to make sure that I don't forget, because y'all know I'm going to freaking forget. Do you know how many times I've had to message a developer like, hey, this is really embarrassing, but do you know that product that I helped you do the launch page for? I forgot to buy it. Can I buy it now even though it's out of stock?
That's fine. We can only see, we don't see you on the stream, though. We're hoping to get your credit card number or something.
Yep.
But we don't see it.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, same as the combination on my luggage. If anybody's a Spaceballs fan, it's
merchandising.
I fucking love that movie so much. You can read it? No, I'm clearing my throat. Anybody that grew up with Jewish friends loves that one. Okay.
Cool. So you're getting that cable. That's nice.
Cool. That's better. Even though Matt's awesome, I never like being like, oh, you should send me this. I always like buying it. But if it wasn't actually listed on the website, how would I be able to buy it? So, Oh, Arnold, that's right. Hold on. Let me double check. Let me get the correct link for that HDMI to VGA adapter. Thank you for reminding me. And then I'll go through the cores that are here as well.
HDMI to oh yeah, the Ranky. Was it Rinky? Rinky Dink? Ranky? Manky? Ranky. Okay. That's rank. Mate, your shoes smell like rank. Manky Ranky. So I forgot the conclusion of that. Did you ever absolutely need to power that Ranky?
No. The short that was inside the other thing is what caused that all to happen. Okay. Or I don't know if it's a short. That was just just kind of.
It's something in the converter, Ivory's external converter.
Yeah, and I'm also going to update the description on this stream real quick for this. My guesses work.
We've gone in some. Oh, that's all right. $8.99 from Amazon. That's okay.
Yeah, that's why I love that thing. $9. This is perfect. So, okay, stream is updated. All right, so let me just run through real quick and let's see. Okay, so console cores, I mean, basically all of them. Holy crap, that's a lot.
Yeah, I guess you get. I don't know how much work it's been to do each of these. Is it like same for each one and you're just kind of getting through them, or is it like quite specific where you need to pick in?
I think it's a little of both.
Because yeah, dang, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, holy shit.
They're there. I mean, I admire I admire his work ethic because we've got this so obscure home micros, some stuff that probably never left the European continent or the island of Great Britain. Yet Mike is over there in Canada making cores for these obscure micros.
I mean, it looks like every arcade core that's not in the JT beta.
Huh.
Which that's just a respect thing, right? And you're supposed to be a Patreon supporter to get those. So double props to Mike. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
So that's a lot. That's pretty cool. So I guess, do we want to end this with just maybe showing some of those?
Sure, fire one up. To respond to Arnold in the chat, yes, you can use that Ranky adapter, go directly to a VGA CRT. You will just need to update the MiSTer INI to output the proper RGB HV signal. But yep.
Is this direct video?
No, wait, that's coming out. No, direct video. What am I talking about? Fuck, did I just say complete shit then?
You might have.
I may have. I think I've been doing
That's
stream.
my job. Don't take my job of saying the wrong thing and word vomiting. That's what I do. You're supposed to be the one keeping us all together here. Can you go to that Ranky and go directly into a VGA CRT and get a decent image? Yes, absolutely, except you have to make sure that it's set to 640 by 480. Or I guess you could, if you're using a consumer device, 720 by 480. But if that's the case, then you definitely want to mess with the centering controls on that.
Oh, okay. So so you have to essentially set the HDMI to output 480p, or the closest you can, and then it can do the conversion. All right, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
I was close. Close. So what do you give us something to look at, Bob? We're not looking at very interesting things.
I am rebooting this thing so that I could go into well, here, let me just show you real quick. So power off, power on, reboot. So we should be able to rebooting. What's going on, mister? Okay, so now we're going into direct video mode. I just set that as an alternate INI. We're probably not going to get a signal here because this doesn't like it, this capture card. But now we could use that to, here we grab, S video, I guess, probably the way to go here. Right, plugging this in, plugging this in.
Oh, blue screen. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you're doing here. Okay, Composite S videos coming in.
Not sure why it's all wonky like that, but we'll get to it after. So
yeah, let's load a call.
YC
Yeah.
Arcade. I'm really wondering why the resolution's all weird like this. Let me try plugging this into my PVM real quick just to see what the heck's going on with this. That could be my setting. No, maybe the Tink just needs rebooting. But so video, S video enable. Yes. Okay, let me leave this here. Try rebooting the Tink and going from there. Hey, Wayne. All right, so this is looking better. That just was the tink farted. That's fine. It happens. So S-Video enable, and this is S-Video out of an arcade core. So if you were plugging this into some like pretty nice consumer grade CRT, it's about as close to an arcade machine as you could possibly get.
Okay. I was just quickly chatting to Mike now, and from what I understand, each core maybe somewhere around 10 or 15 minutes work to adapt it. But I'm not sure yet if he has to. I think it might still be that that work. If there's an update to the core, I think he has to do that sort of 10 minutes work again. But it's not 100% automated in some sort of build script. It's still manual process to integrate it.
Still sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, fuck
Thank you, Mike.
Unbelievable. He said he did 30 in one day last week. He's pounding through it. Oh, and I think as well that the first time that he converts a core to YC, there's a longer period of time for that because he keeps using the term tune, that he's got to tune the core for the best YC output or making the best composite output. So I suspect also what's happening is that when a core gets updated, then you're just sort of porting that bit of code over, that he doesn't have to spend time fine-tuning it for each new version build of the core.
Hey, did you say you were having problems with 32X core and the Mike Simone adapter?
No, I'm having problems with Ivory's adapter and the 32X core, which Mike just confirmed. He also has heard that's going to be a problem. I haven't tried. Try it out. Try the 32X core. Yeah. Mike was suggesting that we do that because the way Mike described it, it sounds like it's a inherent problem in the way that Ivory is doing the conversion, that 32X ain't going to work. All right, for Ivory. Now, having said that, Ivory seems to be a miracle worker and always seems to find a way around. So I wouldn't call him off yet, but I definitely found on my one that I'm showing up to the camera right now did not work well on 32X.
Oh, hopefully, because these are independent of each other, I could just plug this in. Do you get like a crazy all blue? Like, are you seeing what's going on here? Is that what yours looks like?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the colors are off. Yeah.
Like way off. Like
way off. Yeah. Yeah, way off. Like green instead of blue and shit like that. But wait, sorry, which is that Mike's converter you're using?
Both, because you can use independently the I/O board and the direct video.
Yeah. So in theory, Mike's works, but Ivory's doesn't in this case. Let's see. Yeah, Mike's. Oh no, that's the. Oh yeah, load 32X reset. Oh my god, that's so good. That's Sega. That looks great.
So what I would, believe it or not, really suggest is that if Mike's cores are going to eventually be rolled into this thing, I would think that probably one of the best things to do would be for Ivory to adapt these cases to use Mike's, but then also really go back and rework on the circuit that he did as an external device, because that so far is the best external converter I've ever used, and it's better than the one he did last time. So,
oh, yep, turn that over.
Okay, so that is the only, when I'm using Mike's cores, that's, so that looks great here, but check this out.
Show me.
All right, so YC mode, RGB mode. So in order to get this, I would let me.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Let me boot in 32X this way, like a regular 32X core.
Okay.
Console.
Genesis 32X.
Did it used to be Sega 32X, or am I just crazy?
I think it wasn't it S32X, I think?
I think that's where I got confused.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yep.
So the colors are all crazy like that.
Yep, I found exactly the same thing with my version of Ivory's board. So cool. Well, there we go. That's some more feedback to tell him about. I think he knows about this already. No doubt he's working on something.
Yeah, because Mike still says S32X.
Yeah, he's kicking it old school.
Okay,
so yeah, Ivory's
still
board
crazy
right now.
colors with Afterburner, and then when I switch it over from RGB to YC, then it just goes blue. But if we then switch over to Mike's outputting, then it looks pretty damn awesome. All right, well, before we close this up, does anybody have any other questions? I'm going to probably just do a very quick post after this because the summary is as easy as it gets. You know, we're 3 hours in, just probably be one paragraph, but...
one final thought is while we're right here, I have also connected up the original Antonio Villena adapter.
Okay.
The one that I've had for ages, right?
Well, you're going full screen then. All right.
The one that does the RGBS to S video as well. That doesn't need a special core or anything like this. And this is having problems on S video as well. I'm seeing the same problems that Ivory does. Because the way Mike put it is it's the chip that they're using to do the conversion has some inherent flaw in 32X. So that's funny because I never noticed this before with Antonio's adapter. Wow. So, okay, so these external adapters using, I guess, some specific chip is 32X particularly has a problem. So, yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, I think... Any questions? Anybody have anything before we go? I think I'm just going to write a very quick summary post about this and then kind of just go from there.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks, everyone, for watching. What do we do? 2 hours? That's not too bad. Okay. It's real nice.
For anybody watching, what I think I'm going to do is, because I don't want to, I try so hard to be respectful of everybody's time. So what I'd like to do is make this stream unlisted, but put a post and drop it in the post. So anybody who understands that this is one of our nerding streams where we take 3 hours to come to a 2-paragraph conclusion, cool. If you have at it, hopefully you could enjoy it. But I don't want people to think like, oh, look, a fun new live stream. And it's like, oh, here's Bob blowing fuse after fuse again. So, okay. Well, Lewis, as always, thank you very much. Appreciate all your time. Everybody in the chat, thank you all for hanging out. Show, I missed you before. What's up, dude? Good to see you. But yeah, we'll do this again. And I can't promise that we're not going to blow shit up again because me, probably gonna be equally as bad. So thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you very much for watching, everyone.